Hogwarts School of Witchcraft and Wizardry. Principal's Office. You mean there's a 16-year-old on the Hogwarts list this time? I know it's a little weird, but that ancient magic can't go wrong, and it shows that the child is indeed 16 years old. Minerva McGonagall, wearing a dark green robe and a pointed magic hat, had a solemn tone. To know. Hogwarts is a magical school with a long history, and all the young wizards who are of the right age to enter the Hogwarts School of Witchcraft and Wizardry to learn magic are recorded from birth. As long as it fits the age. Hogwarts School of Witchcraft and Wizardry will send admission invitation letters through various channels as soon as possible. Certainly. The most common method is the owl delivery method commonly used in the wizarding world. However, it is the ancient magic that has never gone wrong for hundreds of years, but a very strange thing has happened. Minerva McGonagall found out that a 16-year-old had recorded another crime on this year's first-year admissions list. This is the first time in the centuries since Hogwarts was founded. When Professor McGonagall found out about this, he immediately came to the office of the current headmaster of Hogwarts School of Witchcraft and Wizardry. Tell this strange thing to Albus Dumbledore, the greatest wizard in the wizarding world today. But obviously, the current headmaster of Hogwarts could not give a reasonable explanation for the matter. This was far beyond his comprehension. The white-haired Albus Dumbledore grabbed the paper on the desk in the office and read it out in a low voice through the dim candlelight. Lin Xiao, 15 years, 11 months, 26 days, south-facing bedroom on the 3rd floor, 35, Carnaby Street. Muggle family, parents lost. Is that the kid named Lin Xiao? Albus Dumbledore memorized the information about Lin Xiao, took off his slightly petite glasses and looked at Minerva McGonagall. Yes, Albus, this is the first time this has happened at Hogwarts in hundreds of years, could it be? Professor McGonagall was worried. As the one who has been in charge of the admission of freshmen at Hogwarts, she has never heard of such a thing. Not now. Neither in the past. Voldemort is back, and although it's similar to putting Harry's name in the Goblet of Fire, I don't think it's him this time, maybe it's some kind of induction from ancient magic. While speaking, Albus Dumbledore slowly got up and grabbed the black travel cloak beside him. Minerva, it's going to be a tough year for Hogwarts. The Ministry of Magic has been trying to hide the news of Voldemort's return. Cornelius Fudge doesn't need my help anymore, and is on guard for me. Albus Dumbledore tightened his travel cloak and prepared to go. Professor McGonagall's eyes flashed with disgust when he heard Dumbledore mention Cornelius Fudge. Although, fleeting. However, it was still caught in the eyes of the shrewd Dumbledore. When Cornelius Fudge was appointed Minister of Magic, he had no confidence at all. He was even flanked and impeached by fellow party members and political opponents. If not for Dumbledore's help, how could Cornelius Fudge be the Minister of Magic? But now everything had changed, and the timid Cornelius Fudge had stopped trusting Dumbledore, and even began to worry about whether Dumbledore would take his job as Minister of Magic. According to Cornelius Fudge, the man who can't even be named is back, was the rumor that Albus Dumbledore used Harry Potter for a walk. The purpose is to oust him. To get rid of his position as Minister of Magic. The Order of the Phoenix has set out to pick up Harry. Dementors will appear in the Muggle world. It seems that Voldemort's hand has reached out to various races. I'll go see this little guy named Lin Xiao first. Don't wait for Professor McGonagall to speak. Albus Dumbledore instantly twisted and shrank to a point and disappeared. That's exactly what shape-shifting is. One of the most commonly used magic by magicians. Professor McGonagall sighed as he watched the empty room after Albus Dumbledore left. Looking up at Fox, the phoenix with fiery red feathers and shining golden light, Professor McGonagall looked worried. Ugh. Eventually Professor McGonagall sighed and turned away. Phoenix Fox's eyes flickered brightly and stared at Professor McGonagall's back. He gently flapped his wings and flew out of Principal Dumbledore's office, leaving a fiery red light in the air. 35, Carnaby Street, London. An old man with white hair and beard in a black travel robe suddenly appeared out of thin air on the silent street. The old man looked up at the house in front of him. It was found that a certain room on the 3rd floor was constantly flashing golden red light at this moment. Albus Dumbledore was keenly aware of a different feeling as he stared at the constantly flickering window. At this moment, Albus Dumbledore's expression changed slightly. Because he actually knew the magic fluctuations. Magic? Albus Dumbledore was taken aback. His face sank immediately. Are Lin Xiao's parents not Muggles? How could he use magic? Moreover, Albus Dumbledore clearly sensed that the magic power in the room was not overflowing from that kind of underage wizard, but a very precise magic control. Thinking of this, Albus Dumbledore frowned. Harry was due to have a hearing at the Ministry of Magic 2 days ago for using the Patronus charm to expel Dementors. But that's fine. After all, Harry Potter used magic to drive out Dementors. But this kid named Lin Xiao was a little different. Obviously. Is not a special case. If there's trace records over there at the Ministry of Magic, that's another nuisance. Albus Dumbledore frowned and took out a dark but unusual wand and tapped it on the door. The door opened slowly and silently. Not a single sound was made. This is the basic magic that all wizards use, Araho Cave. At this moment. Just as Albus Dumbledore used his magic, the young man upstairs who was manipulating a kitchen knife flying wildly raised his eyebrows and found that someone had broken into his home. The young man turned abruptly and waved his right hand into a seal quickly. Swish. The kitchen knife instantly slashed above the door with a golden red light, and the sharp tip of the knife pointed directly at the closed door, just floating above the door out of thin air. A thief? Or a burglary? Lin Xiao was a little nervous at the moment. They say there is chaos abroad. But he didn't expect this kind of thing to happen in the middle of the night. It was a burglary anyway. Even if you kill this person yourself, you shouldn't break the law here. As for whether it was a relative or friend, Lin Xiao knew that it was absolutely impossible. Lin Xiao swallowed and stared nervously at the door. Heart beating wildly. Fortunately, I awakened the system, otherwise I would really suffer tonight. Da. The footsteps gradually became clearer. Obviously. The stranger who broke into his house hastily was walking towards the room he was in. Click. The door handle twisted slowly. Squeak. The door was slowly pushed open. Go to hell, damn. When the door was pushed open, Lin Xiao swung his right hand sharply, and the kitchen knife shot towards the shadow at the door. But next second. His eyes swept across the door quickly. Seeing that very familiar figure, Lin Xiao was immediately dumbfounded. Is this Albus Dumbledore? Play Cospoli. What the hell? Household robbery isn't hooded stockings anymore. But that thought was fleeting. Lin Xiao, no matter if it's cost Dumbledore or Snape, it's never wrong to start first. However, what happened next made Lin Xiao open his mouth directly. I saw that Albus Dumbledore Kozer took out a magic wand out of nowhere, and waved lightly with the right hand holding the magic wand. Boom! With a burst of white smoke, the sharp kitchen knife turned into a rag doll. Click. Lin Xiao was dumbfounded. Albus Dumbledore was also a little more silly. The two of them stared at each other like this, and neither of them said a word. A long time. Hee, interesting kid, is your name Lin Xiao? Let me introduce myself. My name is Albus Dumbledore. I'm the headmaster of Hogwarts School of Witchcraft and Wizardry. You can call me Headmaster Dumbledore or Professor Dumbledore. I'm here to tell you, you're about to go to Hogwarts School of Witchcraft and Wizardry to learn magic. Albus Dumbledore picked up the rag doll on the ground under Lin Xiao's shocked gaze. Transform. Transfiguration. It's real Albus Dumbledore, not a Kozer. That's the Elder Wand. The strongest Elder Wand in the Deathly Hallows. Lin Xiao's eyes fell on the Albus Dumbledore magic wand, and an excited look flashed across his eyes, but he was quickly suppressed. Hogwarts School of Witchcraft and Wizardry. What is that? Lin Xiao pretended to be a little dazed. But at this moment he was ecstatic in his heart. How could he not know about Hogwarts School of Witchcraft and Wizardry? This is all explained. Why did he suddenly travel to Country Y, why did he suddenly awaken the system, and why did he become an orphan template with no relatives and no friends? It turns out that the world he is in now is the magical world of Harry Potter. Didn't you wonder how you were able to control the kitchen knife to fly? Of course, this is very dangerous, and I don't recommend doing it myself. This is magic, you were recorded by Hogwarts from birth, we have always waiting for you little wizard. I think there may be something wrong with the ancient magic. Although you are 16 years old, you still need to enter the academy and start learning from the first year. I don't think you will object. Speaking of which, Dumbledore is naughty in a wink, a little naughty. First grade. Lin Xiao was a little speechless this time. Aren't all 11-year-olds at Hogwarts in their first year? Looking up and down Dumbledore, Lin Xiao couldn't make out the situation he was in right now. He was tempted to ask what year Harry Potter was now. But Lin Xiao dared not. It would be self-defeating if Harry Potter wasn't in school yet, and he didn't want to be caught by Dumbledore, pulling out his memories and putting them in the pensieve. Or being dosed with Veritaserum by Professor Snape. After all, he has too many secrets. Seeing Lin Xiao thoughtful, Albus Dumbledore pointed to the chair beside him. Lin Xiao nodded numbly. Albus Dumbledore sat down rudely and began to explain briefly to him. Lin Xiao also cooperated and pretended to be surprised. This is an admission invitation, I hope you can have a good relationship with your classmates. There are still a few days before the start of the school, and then someone will take you to buy enough items on the school list. Seeing that Lin Xiao probably understood what happened, Albus Dumbledore got up and prepared to leave. After all, he has more important things to do. Harry Potter's hearing was about to begin, and he didn't have much time here. And his purpose of coming here has been achieved. Indeed, a 16-year-old boy. Nothing particularly fancy. If there is. That is, this teenager can control objects to float in the air without using a wand and spell, and can command. Looks like another fun kid. Before leaving, Albus Dumbledore gave Lin Xiao a deep look, as if he wanted to see Lin Xiao through. After all, some young wizards can do strange things with their uncontrolled magic power when they are young, but it is rare for Lin Xiao to release magic by his own thoughts. This shows that the boy's perception of magic is extraordinary. Perhaps another aura blank. But anyway, at the moment he has nothing to do with Voldemort. Mr. Lin Xiao, I hope you will enjoy every day at Hogwarts School of Witchcraft and Wizardry. Well, I have something else to do, seeing that you are just a little wizard who grew up in a Muggle family. Oh, sorry, Muggle, it's referring to situations like yours where your parents aren't wizards, and in short, Hogwarts is looking forward to your arrival. Don't wait for Lin Xiao to speak. Albus Dumbledore, who was in a hurry, twisted into threads in an instant. It disappeared as if absorbed by an invisible black hole in an instant. Ha! Displacement. The first time he saw displacement, Lin Xiao was somewhat excited. He tried to shout a few times and found that Dumbledore had really disappeared, so he picked up the parchment left by Albus Dumbledore and read it carefully. A wand. Ollivander's wand shop in Diagon Alley. A mouthful of crucibles. Patch's crucible shop in Diagon Alley. An owl, cat, or toad. Isla owl shop in Diagon Alley. A robe and Mrs. Morgan's robe store in Diagon Alley. There are also many books for first-year students to use below. At this time, Lin Xiao was stunned to realize that he had no money. Do not. To be precise, there should be no money in the wizarding world. The currency of Harry Potter's magical world is different from that of the Muggle world. Gold galleons, silver sykes, and copper nat are used as circulating currencies. Although Lin Xiao did not leave behind a magical world currency legacy from his parents who were wizards. But the Muggle world's heritage he had was not little. Not to mention the wealthy. But you don't have to worry about eating and drinking, and you don't need to think about what you want to buy. Lin Xiao thought for a while. If he remembered correctly, the exchange rate between gold galleons and British pounds is fixed at about 1:5, that is, 1 gold galleon is equal to 5 pounds, or about 44 yuan. Fortunately, my cheap parents have left me a lot of inheritance. Lin Xiao muttered happily. Lin Xiao was extremely excited at this moment, even more excited than the day the system awakened. He reached out and touched the strange necklace around his neck. If any Marvel movie fans see this necklace at this moment, they will exclaim its name. The Eye of Agamotto. A container for the time gem. Lin Xiao slowly rubbed the Eye of Agamotto, recalling the day the system awakened in his mind. Lin Xiao found out when he came to this world. Not only the age goes back to about 15 years old. At the same time, there is a necklace with a very strange pendant on the neck. Beneath the golden yellow exterior is like a closed eye, with extremely complex inscriptions engraved on it. Lin Xiao, who is a fan of science fiction movies, immediately recognized that this was the Eye of Agamotto that appeared in the Marvel series of Doctor Strange movies. At first Lin Xiao thought it was an imitation or a peripheral prop. But the voice that exploded in his mind the next second made Lin Xiao understand that things were not that simple. Ding, the host meets the system activation conditions, the Supreme Mage system is being activated. Supreme Mage system has been successfully activated, binding. Host, Lin Xiao. System, Supreme Mage system. Bind the system for the first time, reward the Eye of Agamotto. Even if Lin Xiao was being stupid, when the Supreme Master system awakened, he realized that Goldfinger had arrived. With Lin Xiao's research on the Supreme Master system more and more deeply, he also probably figured out the system. Simply put, it is a system that can help Lin Xiao become a Supreme Mage. As long as he is alive. The control of magic power and magic will become more and more proficient every day, and some magic rewards will be continuously obtained. It's completely a lie-win system. It can even be said to be a salted fish system. Not only that. Lin Xiao also found an option with the word to be triggered in the Supreme Mage system, which was marked as a reward task. Seems at the right time. Suitable location. Supreme Mage also triggers new bonus quests. Currently Lin Xiao has only one skill, that is, he can use his mind to manipulate objects. As for the ability to use magic to mimic weapons and other skills, it has not yet been obtained. But Lin Xiao was not in a hurry. Now that we have the Supreme Mage system, it is only a matter of time to become stronger. The most important thing at the moment is to buy good school supplies. Ugh. I don't know what grade Hermione is now, right, and Luna. If only they were doing Goblet of Fire, Fleur would be good. Ginny seems to be the schoolgirl. At this moment, Lin Xiao is looking forward to the entrance. Thinking of these ladies, ahem. The thought of going to Hogwarts to learn magic and experience the life of a wizard fills me with excitement. Now Lin Xiao simply hopes that Harry Potter and the others have already entered the school, even if it is the first year. Some things are also good to grab from dolls. But Lin Xiao didn't know it. Harry, Ronald and Hermione were in 5th grade at the time. Hogwarts starts on September 1st. It had been 3 days since Professor Dumbledore's visit, and tomorrow was the day of school. However, Lin Xiao felt a little helpless. Last time, when Professor Dumbledore was leaving, he clearly said that someone would take him to Diagon Alley to buy the things he needed for admission, but no one came to the door for several days. It looks like school is about to start. Not to mention buying the necessary items for admission. Not even currency can be exchanged now. Sometimes Lin Xiao is thinking. Did Professor Dumbledore forget him? But it turns out. Not really. Because Voldemort's return had indeed made Dumbledore a little exhausted recently, there were more and more things to think about and investigate, and the Order of the Phoenix held secret meetings more frequently. Harry's use of the Patronus charm in Little Whinging without permission was officially over. Finally, Lin Xiao waited anxiously. Professor Dumbledore visited 35, Carnaby Street again this afternoon. Originally, the matter of taking Lin Xiao to buy the necessary items for school should not be carried out by Professor Dumbledore himself. But somehow, Dumbledore was always thinking of the oldest freshman since Hogwarts was founded. As if something strange was destined to happen. Lin Xiao was indeed surprised by Professor Dumbledore's visit again. After all, this is the greatest wizard in the wizarding world, the current headmaster of Hogwarts School of Witchcraft and Wizardry. Professor Dumbledore, why are you here again? Lin Xiao looked at the tall Dumbledore and asked. Hee, I haven't been to Diagon Alley for a long time. I just want to go to Gringotts. Gringotts is the bank of our wizarding world, and many wizards will give some gold and silver treasures to Gringotts for safekeeping. Saying that, Dumbledore stretched out his right arm to Lin Xiao and ordered. The first apparition may not feel very comfortable. Hold on to me, you still have a lot of things to buy, and it still takes a lot of time to find it yourself. Lin Xiao reached out and carefully grabbed Dumbledore's outstretched right arm. Take a deep breath. However, without waiting for Lin Xiao to exhale the air in his chest, the world suddenly turned upside down. Ugh, vomit. Lin Xiao bent over and kept retching. Dumbledore looked at him with a smile on the side, without urging. As Dumbledore said. The first apparition experience was not a good one, retching and nausea are normal. I'm all right, Professor Dumbledore, this does feel a little uncomfortable. Lin Xiao wiped the saliva from the corner of his mouth, stood up weakly and said. Professor Dumbledore gave Lin Xiao a funny look, then pushed open a door made of black wood. Lin Xiao turned around and took a look. This store is not just the store door wrapped in black wood. The windows are even more tightly closed by black wooden boards, so the interior cannot be seen. But Lin Xiao understood what this place was. Look up. Sure enough, there is a plaque hanging on it, and the plaque is exactly, Broken Cauldron. Sure enough it is here. Lin Xiao's heart moved slightly, and he followed Professor Dumbledore into the dim axe bar. Dumbledore greeted the guests in the Broken Axe bar familiarly, and walked towards the back door with Lin Xiao. Albus Dumbledore is worthy of being the most famous wizard in the wizarding world today. Lin Xiao saw that all the drinkers raised their glasses to Professor Dumbledore or took off their hats. Da. When Dumbledore brought Lin Xiao to the back door of the Leaky Cauldron bar, he took out the Elder Wand in his arms and clicked 5 times according to a certain pattern on the wall with a few vacant red bricks. Remember the order I just made. This is the way to enter Diagon Alley from the Leaky Cauldron. Of course, if you are skilled in apparition or flip powder, you can also get to Diagon Alley. accompanied by the voices that slowly entered his ears. Lin Xiao stared at the scene in front of him in shock. The whole red brick wall suddenly began to rotate with a certain pattern, and the red brick wall was divided into two parts from the middle with the sound of clicking, and finally an exit appeared. Immediately afterwards, a shocking scene appeared in front of Lin Xiao. The long and narrow streets were full of people. People in different clothes are talking or shopping. Most of them were dressed in robes and pointed wizard hats. There are various shops standing side by side on both sides, exactly like the scene in the movie. Welcome to Diagon Alley, this is the world of wizards. Let's go, I'll take you to Gringotts first, and then you need to rely on yourself to buy items. Dumbledore said after seeing Lin Xiao's expression, the corners of his mouth were slightly curved. Lin Xiao didn't say much. Following Dumbledore finally came to Gringotts. Okay, this is Gringotts. There will be a currency exchange area between the Muggle world and the Wizarding world, and you will need yourself to buy the rest of the items. By the way, it's called Nocturne Alley, I don't recommend you go there alone. Okay, it's already very troublesome, Professor, thank you for bringing me here. Seeing Lin Xiao's knowing expression, Dumbledore smiled and nodded. After saying goodbye to Professor Dumbledore, Lin Xiao resolutely walked towards the gate of Gringotts, not forgetting to look at this place, which was said to be the second safest place after Hogwarts. Gringotts' location is special. Located at the Diagon Alley and Nocturne Alley interface. Run by a group of goblins, Gringotts is a towering white building. When Lin Xiao passed the first shiny bronze gate, the goblin guard in scarlet gold uniform standing at the door slowly bowed to Lin Xiao. Then came the second silver gate. Lin Xiao came to the silver door and saw the engraved text at a glance. Come in, stranger. But beware, what happens to insatiable greed. Blindly asking for something for nothing will be punished the most severely. For if you try to take from our vault a treasure that was never yours, thief, you have been warned. Beware, what you will attract is not treasure, but evil. Lin Xiao couldn't help shaking his head and laughing when he saw this text. It looks as if Gringotts is extremely safe, but that's not the case. He clearly remembered. Harry Potter used some methods to infiltrate the underground treasure house of Gringotts, and also released a dragon. Walking in the spacious marble hall, there are counters that are dozens of meters long on both sides. About a dozen fairies are sitting on the counters and busy with concentration. Occasionally, a goblin raised its head to see Lin Xiao and quickly lowered its head. It seems that he has no interest in anything other than the golden galleons and gems in his hands. Lin Xiao, on the other hand, was constantly looking for a currency exchange counter. But no matter how Lin Xiao looks for it, just didn't find a counter marked with currency exchange. Just as Lin Xiao was looking for fruitless and preparing to ask the goblin, an unusually familiar voice entered his ears. Yes, I am going to exchange 30 gold galleons, 50 silvers and 100 copper nats. I've done the math, here's the pound I've prepared, I don't think you need to count it once. I've counted it 3 times before you come, and I can't go wrong. When Lin Xiao turned around, I saw the girl with thick and disheveled long brown hair talking to the fairy confidently and loudly. And the goblin on the counter counts the pounds in her hands. This girl is no one else. It was Hermione Granger. Although Hermione was wearing ordinary denim trousers and a t-shirt at the moment, Lin Xiao's slender figure still caught her eye. Hermione was a little impatient to see the goblin take a slow count. She had already counted the pounds to be exchanged 3 times, and it was impossible for her to make a single mistake. But the goblin on the counter didn't believe her. She didn't have much time to linger here, and she didn't know where Harry and Ronald were going. She still didn't have time to buy some of the books she was going to study in the 5th grade. The thought of a new book, Hermione, makes me excited. Just as Hermione was about to urge the goblin who was serving her again, a warm voice suddenly sounded beside her. Hello, beautiful lady, my name is Lin Xiao, I'm a student at Hogwarts School of Witchcraft and Wizardry. I want to ask, is it here to exchange money? Are you a student at Hogwarts? Hermione looked suspiciously at the handsome boy beside her, a light flashed in her eyes. Such a handsome boy. But Hermione didn't have the slightest impression of Lin Xiao, who claimed to be a Hogwarts student. She also spent 4 years at Hogwarts. Seeing that Lin Xiao was the same age as her, Hermione felt even more puzzled. If such a handsome boy were his alumni, he would have been talked about by those female students every day. Well, I am indeed a student of Hogwarts. I want to exchange some galleons, but I don't know how to exchange it. Lin Xiao took out a thick stack of pounds from his pocket as he spoke. Which academy are you from? Why haven't I met you? It's not the Slytherin Academy, nor the Gryffindor, is it Hufflepuff or Ravenclaw? Hermione was obviously interested in Lin Xiao and asked curiously. Lin Xiao scratched his head. Facing the way Hermione broke the casserole and asked to the end, it was a little hard to tell. That. I'm this year's freshman, first year, you definitely haven't seen me. Newborn. Hermione's suddenly raised voice caught the attention of many. He quickly covered his mouth. The piercing brown eyes stared round and looked Lin Xiao up and down quickly. Hee, it's really a freshman, you see this is the admission invitation letter from Hogwarts. Lin Xiao wanted to meet Hermione. With such a good opportunity to draw closer, how could he not grasp it? Hermione snatched the admission invitation letter from Lin Xiao's hand and read it 3 times. How is that possible? I've seen Hogwarts, a school history, and no one ever, is your age. Oh, no one ever gets into school over 12, let alone 16. Years old, it's an ancient magical control, impossible, the content in the book will not deceive. Lin Xiao didn't know how to explain listening to Hermione's muttered words. He can't always say that he has transmigrated here. Those ancient magics are dominated by some mysterious plug-in system. I really don't know the specifics. My parents died early. Professor Dumbledore said that I am a Muggle family. Who knows? By the way, can you exchange some gold galleons for me? I need to buy the items on the admission list. Although Hermione didn't mind the wizarding lineage issue. But hearing Lin Xiao said that he was from a Muggle family, Hermione, who had the same family situation, couldn't help but have a better impression of Lin Xiao. With Hermione's help, Lin Xiao quickly exchanged all the British pounds in his hand into gold galleons and silver zikes. Thank you, Granger and Senpai. Can you do me one more favor, where is the location of this Ollivander wand shop? Hermione walked out of Gringotts just to find Harry and Ronald. Lin Xiao asked again. In that position, you should go forward. Forget it, Harry and Ronald should still be with Ronald's parents, I'll take you there. Perhaps it was a little soft-hearted about the premature death of Lin Xiao's parents. Or maybe he was curious about Lin Xiao himself. Hermione struggled a bit and decided to help the older freshman buy some of the things he needed. Lin Xiao also roughly guessed the current timeline from the chat with Hermione. The Goblet of Fire is over. Voldemort has made a successful return. The 3 of Harry started school in 5th grade. According to the timeline, Harry Potter should have just attended the hearing, and the Death Eater Nemesis Order of the Phoenix also surfaced. That is to say, the Toad Dolores Umbridge is the teacher of this year's Defense Against the Dark Arts class. Along the way, Lin Xiao and Hermione asked many things about Hogwarts. Soon. Accompanied by Hermione, Lin Xiao came to Ollivander's wand shop. Ollivander's storefront is small and shabby, with a single wand on a faded purple cushion in the window. Lin Xiao looked up and saw that the gold signboard on the door had peeled off, and it read, Ollivander, a well-made wand since 382 BC. It's here, all the little witches, the wizards will choose a wand here before they enter Hogwarts. Oh, no, there is a wand that will choose you, and I'll take you in. Hermione proudly raised her snow-white neck to teach Lin Xiao a science lesson. Oh, MS. Hermione Granger, I remember you, a very smart little wizard born in a Muggle family, a wand made of arabesque wood with a dragon heartstring core, a hardcore wand that rarely chooses female wizards. Mr. Ollivander said at the first sight of Hermione. But when his eyes turned to Lin Xiao. Full of doubts. Who is this gentleman? Ollivander kept looking at Lin Xiao, but no matter what, he couldn't find any relevant memory in his memory. Mr. Ollivander, my name is Lin Xiao. I'm a wizard who is going to Hogwarts to study magic this year. I want to come here to buy a wand. Lin Xiao saw Ollivander staring at him suspiciously. Speak up. Newborn. Ollivander showed the same puzzled look as Hermione just now, but he didn't ask any more questions for a moment. After all, he only cares about wand making in his heart. Not much interest to know about other things. Hee hee. Wait a minute, the wand will choose its ideal owner, not you to buy the wand. But you to wait for the choice of the wand. Ollivander turned around with a grin on his long messy white hair. But as soon as the voice fell. Sudden change. Caw 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 caw. Caw 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 caw. Thousands of boxes containing wands began to vibrate wildly, as if all the wands inside were about to burst out of the box. The drawer containing the wand kept sliding out and falling, making a loud noise. What? Hermione was also startled and screamed by the scene in front of her. Ollivander turned around abruptly and stared straight at Lin Xiao and murmured excitedly, how is this possible? These wands are all excited, this kid, why? This was the first time he had seen such a situation. For a while, I didn't know what kind of wand would be better for the little wizard in front of him. Because at this moment, all the wands are waiting impatiently for the little wizard's choice. Hermione covered her mouth and watched in shock. After a short contact with Lin Xiao, she was shocked again. This time. Click. A very unusual sound rang out quietly. Strange to say. When this sound rang out, the thousands of wands that were rioting were silently subsided in an instant. Ollivander's wand shop ushered in a brief silence after the wand riot just now. Ollivander looked in a certain direction in disbelief. Lin Xiao was blank. No idea what happened. Could it be, how could this be, that magic wand has been around for so long? Ollivander walked in tremblingly. While walking, he muttered to himself. Hermione grabbed Lin Xiao's arm suddenly and asked, "Have you studied magic?" Lin Xiao shook his head. Hermione bit her lower lip and released Lin Xiao's arm. Soon. Ollivander came out with an unusually worn box in both hands. "Mr. Lin Xiao, maybe the person this wand has been waiting for is you, an ancient wand from a mysterious country in the east." Saying that, Ollivander slowly opened the tattered box. There was a hint of red in the black. The ordinary but not simple wand immediately caught the eyes of Lin Xiao and Hermione. Ollivander stroked the wand carefully, and said in a low voice, "The body of the dove tree, with Zhou Wu's heart as the core, is 13½ inches long, mysterious." Lin Xiao looked at the wand with a faint red glow in the black with a different emotion. Dove tree. Zhou Wu heart. This is all in their own hometown to exist. I don't know how many years this wand has been stored in the store. It is made of materials that my ancestors obtained from traveling to the mysterious East. Over the years, countless people have tried this wand. Now it has finally found its owner. Ollivander handed the wand to Lin Xiao as he spoke. Instantly when Lin Xiao held the wand. Hum. A beast roar sounded, and the wand instantly turned red. As expected, it is said that Zhou Wu has mysterious abilities. This is the only wand in the world that uses Zhou Wu's heart as its core, and now it belongs to you. Ollivander sighed again and again. I don't know how many generations this wand has been passed down. Now it finally has a master. Little one, try waving your wand. Ollivander looked at Lin Xiao expectantly. Lin Xiao felt a warm current flow from the wand in his hand and waved it gently. Hum. In an instant, the entire Ollivander wand shop box trembled, as if congratulating the dove tree wand for finding its owner. When Lin Xiao waved his hand, the movement stopped. The shop is quiet. The dovewood wand turned black again. In the end, Lin Xiao paid 7 gold galleons to buy this dove tree wand that had been stored in Ollivander's wand shop for many years. Okay, there's Madame Malkin's robe shop over there, that's Lisbon bookstore, that's Paddich's crucible shop. Basically everything you need to buy is here, I'm leaving. After leaving Ollivander's wand shop, Hermione said goodbye to Lin Xiao. Although Hermione is still full of curiosity about Lin Xiao, she must now join Harry and Ronald. Okay, thank you, Hermione. Lin Xiao didn't hold back. Anyway, school starts tomorrow, and we can meet again soon. One afternoon. Lin Xiao ran all over Diagon Alley. He also purchased all the items needed for admission, which also cost him most of the gold coins he exchanged. Hermione, who returned to the headquarters of the Order of the Phoenix, told her 2 good friends what she had seen this afternoon. What? Impossible, Hermione, how can there be a 16-year-old freshman, you say so, Harry? Ronald bumped Harry's shoulder in disbelief. Harry glanced at Ronald. Then looked at Hermione. It's not impossible to deceive ancient magic, isn't the goblet of fire deceived? When he said this, Ronald looked at Harry suddenly and said hurriedly, you said that Lin Xiao may have been arranged by a mysterious person to enter the school. Didn't Hermione say that Professor Dumbledore personally went to his house? Hermione rolled her eyes at Ronald angrily. Lin Xiao can't be a Death Eater. Professor Dumbledore knows about his return. How could the mysterious man risk and blatantly arrange for someone to enter Hogwarts? Harry nodded in agreement with Hermione, too. The 3 were speechless. Only Harry held his wand and kept the burning newspaper floating in the air. He's been in a bad state recently. Voldemort now has no idea where his followers are creeping in, and he can't do anything about it. He would love to join the Order of the Phoenix. But his godfather, Sirius Black, told him the time was not yet. Okay, I'm going to bed, and I have to go to school tomorrow, you 2 don't pull things down. Hermione stayed for a while. Feeling a little sleepy, he left the room for the 2 of them. And the other side. Lin Xiao was not sleepy at the moment. Tomorrow he was going to Hogwarts School of Witchcraft and Wizardry, and it was inevitable that he would be a little excited. At this time he is learning camouflage magic. Over and over, try to condense weapons that can be used in battle in your hands. The magic system of camouflage is different from the magic system of Harry Potter World. Harry Potter World magic system is innate. If you are born a wizard is a wizard, if you are not a wizard, you can't become a wizard who can use magic. Say it's magic. It should be said that it is some kind of unique ability, no blue bars, no cooling, and no need to practice. On the other hand, the camouflage magic system is acquired through practice. In theory, everyone can cultivate, and it belongs to acquired practice. You can control the energy between heaven and earth through practice, and release various magical skills with the unique operation mode. At this moment, Lin Xiao is familiar with camouflage magic. Currently, he can only use telekinesis. Move or attack various items according to his thoughts. In recent days, Lin Xiao has been learning how to condense weapons using camouflage magic. This troubled Lin Xiao a bit. Fortunately, there is a clue, but the weapons used in the battle have not been fully condensed. Lin Xiao chooses camouflage magic and Harry Potter World magic, and he will undoubtedly choose camouflage magic. After all, it's not a level at all. For example, one of the 3 forbidden spells in the Harry Potter World, Arvada gnaws a big melon. Even strong. But as long as Lin Xiao is strong, it is almost impossible to break his defense. As for Voldemort. Can there be a tyrant? Lin Xiao doesn't even have to grow to be as powerful as Doctor Strange, maybe he will be able to surpass Voldemort level in the near future. Lin Xiao spent the night in constant practice. September 1st, Lin Xiao arrived at the King's Avenue railway station very early. Originally, Lin Xiao didn't know how to get to platform 9 3/4. Fortunately, along the way, Lin Xiao saw a lot of young wizards pushing suitcases with owl cages on them, which made Lin Xiao follow quickly to the place he was looking for. Until I saw the very familiar wall. And the wizards rushed into the wall and disappeared when the pedestrians didn't pay attention, and they felt a little uneasy in their hearts. Right here. Lin Xiao looked at the wall between platform 10 and platform 9 excitedly and nervously and took a deep breath. To be frank. It really takes courage to let him slam into the wall like this. Fortunately, he quickly adjusted his mind. The reason. Because he had just witnessed the pictures of several 11 or 12-year-old children rushing into the wall. This made Lin Xiao blush a little bit. Lin Xiao turned his head and looked around, and found that no one noticed him at the moment. Who it's now? After muttering in a low voice, Lin Xiao pushed the cart and started rushing towards the wall. Just as the front of the cart was about to hit the wall. Although already prepared. Lin Xiao still couldn't help but closed his eyes. Hum. 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 When Lin Xiao heard the long whistle sound, he subconsciously opened his eyes. Immediately, Lin Xiao saw the red steam train heading for Hogwarts School of Witchcraft and Wizardry right in front of him. There are many children of all ages saying goodbye to their parents. Lin Xiao turned his head sharply. The sign hanging above the wall at this moment reads exactly 9 3/4. Lin Xiao's luggage is not too much. A makeup owl and cage, 2 large British-style suitcases. But even so, Lin Xiao went back and forth twice before he loaded his luggage onto the train to find a place to put it away. But when Lin Xiao was about to look for a box, he couldn't find a satisfactory box. Or some younger wizards of the lower grades. Or some noisy students. Lin Xiao also didn't deliberately search for the box where Hermione was, just wanted to find a quieter box with fewer people. Interestingly, Lin Xiao saw Malfoy and his 2 younger brothers, Goyle and Crabbe, in the process of looking for the box. The boxes they were in were obviously all Slytherin students. Malfoy was surrounded by other teenagers like the stars holding the moon, listening to what he was saying. When passing by Malfoy's box, Lin Xiao couldn't help but look inside. Naturally, he also caught sight of Malfoy. Hey Goyle, which college is this from? Malfoy pouted at Goyle and asked curiously. Gore's reaction was obviously half a beat slower. When he looked up in the direction of the door, Lin Xiao had already left. Who? Did you see that, Crabbe? Crabbe, who was eating a licorice wand, looked up blankly from Goyle to Malfoy. Malfoy saw Crabbe grabbing a licorice wand and scolded with a smile, Crabbe, you're about to catch up with Goyle and Too Fat, aren't you really afraid that fat people can't ride a broomstick? The voice fell. The teenagers in the box cooperated and burst into laughter. Crabbe wasn't angry either. With a silly sound, he shoved a bunch of chocolate frogs into Goyle's arms. The meaning is obvious. In order to prevent himself from having two fat Gowers, let Goyle eat more snacks. This move caused a burst of laughter again. Malfoy laughed twice and then withdrew his smile, looking out the window sharply. He was reluctant to go back to school again. The Dark Lord has made a comeback. His father and mother were the Dark Lord's most capable men, and he should have joined the Death Eaters long ago, instead of coming back to this naive school to continue learning magic. I don't know what to think now. You have to go to school with peace of mind, and don't get involved in Death Eater-related matters. Lin Xiao also had a different emotion when he saw Malfoy. This young master who runs through the entire storyline of Harry Potter, who seems sinister and vicious but is extremely timid, may not know that next year will be the beginning of a nightmare for him. Seeing that Lin Xiao was about to reach the end of the carriage. Suddenly I found that a box at the rear of the car was unusually quiet, as if no one was there. Lin Xiao carefully looked inside through the upper glass of the car door. He actually saw a girl he didn't expect. Lin Xiao carefully looked at the girl in the car through the upper window of the car door. The girl has silver eyes, dark blonde hair, pale eyebrows and a slightly pale complexion, and wears a pair of turnip-shaped earrings on her ears. If you look carefully, you'll find a necklace made of a butterbeer cork on the girl's chest. It might seem a little strange to put these characteristics on others, but it has a strange charm in a girl. Girls are no one else. It was the Luna Lovegood that Lin Xiao wanted to know. When Lin Xiao knocked on the compartment door, Luna, who was holding up the Quibbler magazine, turned her head slightly in the direction of the compartment door, but her eyes were not looking at the window. Hello, my name is Lin Xiao, can I sit here? The carriages over there are too full. Lin Xiao opened the compartment door and shrugged. Yes, but you have to be careful with the cockroach. Luna's voice was ethereal. If Lin Xiao hadn't known Luna well, he might have been scared away by this nervousness. After all, Luna has a nasty nickname at Hogwarts. Crazy Lovegood. Not only Ravenclaw where Luna is located, but also the students of the other 3 colleges have heard of it. Lin Xiao walked over to Luna and sat down and began to seriously look at Luna. I have to say that Luna has a very attractive temperament, as if there is a layer of mist shrouded in it, people can't help but peel it off to understand. But Lin Xiao had to complain about Luna's outfit today. The red stockings and the dark purple long coat are really a bit spicy. It's all about looks. Then aren't you afraid of cockroach hooks? By the way, what's your name? Lin Xiao sat down and started to strike up a conversation. Luna straightened up and looked at Lin Xiao, but Lin Xiao didn't think her eyes were falling on his face, more like falling on top of his head. My name is Luna Lovegood, Ravenclaw 4th grade. Luna grabbed the necklace made of the butter cork on her chest. This is a spell, it's designed to prevent cockroaches, so I'm not afraid, of course I only have one. Lin Xiao bent down and glanced at the necklace and smiled. You are very quiet here. The carriages in front are all full. I managed to find this place. Well, maybe it's harassment flies, they often mess up people's minds, the more messed up people are, the more they like to get together. Having said that, Luna deliberately lowered her voice and leaned towards Lin Xiao. Feeling the hot breath hitting her face, Luna's voice continued to sound. Actually, everyone doesn't know that it's not lively, but harassing flies. There is no harassing flies in this compartment, so there will be no one. After speaking, Luna straightened up and prepared to continue looking at the magazine in her hand. Lovegood. You can call me Luna. Okay, Luna, why didn't you bring your friends? I mean, can't be too boring alone. Friends? I have no friends. Forehead. Lin Xiao looked at Luna who was focusing on reading the magazine across from him and was suddenly at a loss for words. What a fool myself. He heard Luna say that he didn't have any friends and remembered that Luna got close to Ginny and Hermione through Harry Potter's establishment of this year. The previous Luna belonged to the kind of existence that people kept away from. How can you have friends? Then can I be your friend? Although I'm only a freshman now, I should be older than you. I'm 16 years old this year. Okay, my name is Luna, I am 14 years old this year, then I should be your senior sister. But your age is my brother, then you are my first friend. Luna replied succinctly. It was a little surprising that Lin Xiao felt smooth. The rest of the time Lin Xiao and Luna chatted casually. No one bothered from beginning to end. Originally, someone wanted to enter this carriage, but when they saw Luna in it, they chose to look for other carriages. Lin Xiao is also happy and pure. He was listening to Luna tell him many strange things the whole time. Like how the Luna family discovered the cockroach hook. Another example is what exactly is a harassment flies. The topic that others see is a bit neurotic, but Lin Xiao listens to it with gusto, occasionally inserting 2 sentences. And this also made the relationship between Lin Xiao and Luna grow by leaps and bounds. Especially when Luna said she hated Cornelius Fudge. Because she suspects that Cornelius Fudge has secretly cultivated an army of fire elves. This also makes Lin Xiao think Luna is a little more cute. Soon. The Hogwarts train runs from day to night, getting closer and closer to Hogwarts. Luna also knew from Lin Xiao that he was a freshman this year. Compared to the shock of Hermione, Dumbledore and others, Luna seemed extra calm, as if it were a normal thing. The journey went by quickly. Thanks to Luna's many anecdotes, Lin Xiao didn't feel bored. When the Hogwarts train was going slower and slower, Lin Xiao knew they were coming. Here we are, we should go. It was the 4th time that Luna had taken the Hogwarts train. Of course she understood that she had reached her destination, and stood up to greet Lin Xiao to leave. The luggage will be delivered to the dormitory, don't worry. Lin Xiao nodded and followed Luna to get up and leave the carriage. When Lin Xiao and Luna got out of the carriages one after the other, there were already many students walking out of their respective carriages in the passage. When these students saw Lin Xiao walking out of the carriage with Luna, they were all stunned, and then started talking in a low voice. Hey, that guy dares to share a car with a crazy girl. What a handsome boy, which academy is he from? Why haven't I seen him? It's a pity, if you're with the crazy girl again, your brains shouldn't be normal. These people don't speak loudly. But it still clearly entered the ears of Luna and Lin Xiao. Luna didn't care at all. Lin Xiao was also too lazy to pay attention. But Lin Xiao actually saw Hermione walking out of a box with Harry, Ronald and Ginny from a distance. Hermione also saw Lin Xiao from a distance. When she was about to wave to Lin Xiao, she caught Luna's figure and turned her head with a stiff expression. This also made Lin Xiao feel dumbfounded. Good guy. This Luna is your good friend in the future, why are you so scared? New students get off and gather, don't walk around, all new students get off and gather and don't leave casually. According to the normal process of the new semester opening. At this moment, it should be the Hogwarts key-keeper, gamekeeper, and professor of the protection of magical animals, Professor Rubius Hagrid, who should guide the new students. But this time it wasn't the tall mixed-race giant. It was an elderly female professor with short gray-white hair and a very prominent chin. At the moment she was holding a long pipe in her hand. Freshmen, come with me, don't leave with the old ones. Oh, don't run around that kid, your route into the academy is different, I'll show you the scenery that only belongs to Hogwarts. Lin Xiao immediately recognized that the female professor was Professor Wilmina Grubbly-Plank. Last year, he was the substitute teacher who temporarily taught Hagrid the conservation of magical creatures class. Lin Xiao briefly recalled. If you remember correctly. At this moment, Hagrid should be entrusted by Professor Dumbledore to carry out a secret mission, that is, to find the giant with Mrs. Maxim, the headmaster of Beauxbaton's School of Witchcraft and Wizardry, and try to convince the giant to join Dumbledore's camp. Now the wizarding world has ushered in a critical moment. Under the call of Voldemort's return, the Death Eaters are lobbying other races to join them. Hagrid and Mrs. Maxim, who have giant blood, became the best lobbyists for the giants. Hogwarts freshmen and seniors have different admissions paths. Lao Xing entered Hogwarts in a carriage pulled by Thestrals. Certainly. Not everyone can see Thestrals. Most people think it's just a magically self-propelled carriage. The freshman's admission is to take a wooden boat through the lake in front of the Hogwarts school, so as to enjoy the stunning architectural scenery of Hogwarts. Lin Xiao stood out among the crowd of boys and girls only 11 or 12 years old. People around him frequently turned their attention to him. Fortunately, Lin Xiao had already looked away, so he wasn't ashamed to find a crack in the ground and get in. Professor Grubbly-Plank obviously knew about Lin Xiao, and he did not ask why Lin Xiao stood out among the new students, but just glanced at Lin Xiao curiously. But because of the chatter around Lin Xiao, it never stopped. Lin Xiao reluctantly touched his magic robe and sighed, feeling a little tired. Although he doesn't care much about the opinions of his classmates. But still a little helpless. All the freshmen had changed into Hogwarts uniforms and magic robes long before they got off the train. The same goes for Lin Xiao. When Lin Xiao followed the freshmen on a wooden boat and rowed across the lake from a distance, he saw the building complex formed by countless ancient castles in the distance, even from a long distance. Especially under the embellishment of those lights, it is particularly mysterious. The building complex is like a medieval castle, with sharp tower tops everywhere and a terrifyingly large area. As the wooden boats approached, Lin Xiao was once again shocked. Lin Xiao looked at the huge group of ancient castles and didn't even know what words to use to describe his shock. It's not that Lin Xiao lacks knowledge. But anyone who sees the Hogwarts School of Witchcraft and Wizardry with many castles will not be able to suppress the excitement and shock in their hearts. Just like this moment. Countless exclamations and excited voices came from ships everywhere. The lake is huge. Although the wooden boat looks slow, it is not slow. Soon. He was led by Professor Grubblyplank to Hogwarts School of Witchcraft and Wizardry. The freshmen who entered Hogwarts were like wild horses running wild. If it wasn't for Professor Grubblyplank in front of them, these kids wouldn't know where they went. Lin Xiao stepped on the floor in Hogwarts with a lot of emotion. He didn't think of anything. One day he actually entered Hogwarts School of Witchcraft and Wizardry. Lin Xiao didn't keep chatting like the freshmen, he just followed silently at the end of the team. After the freshman team climbed several stairs in a row, Professor Grubblyplank disappeared. The freshmen also all stopped in front of an elderly female wizard wearing a dark green robe and a pointed magic hat of the same color. This female wizard is extremely slender. Although the years left marks on her face. But his demeanor and face are still very elegant. Minerva McGonagall. Lin Xiao recognized at a glance that this was Professor Minerva McGonagall, Deputy Headmaster of Hogwarts School of Witchcraft and Wizardry, Head of Gryffindor House, and Professor of Transfiguration. The aura of Professor McGonagall made the freshmen shudder. All stopped obediently at the bottom of the steps. Welcome to Hogwarts. You'll be able to walk through the gates to meet your new classmates in a while, but you'll have to determine your respective house before you take your seats. Professor McGonagall glanced at the freshmen. It finally fell on Lin Xiao. She glanced at Lin Xiao deeply and said slowly. There are Gryffindor, Hufflepuff, Ravenclaw and Slytherin. Since you are here, you must treat the students as your own home. Good performance can earn students credits, and any violation of discipline will deduct points from the academy. At the end of the school year, the college with the highest score will be awarded the College Cup, and the sorting ceremony will begin immediately. Professor McGonagall turned around and took out a roll of parchment out of nowhere. When he turned around again, his eyes still fell on Lin Xiao. Although Lin Xiao was not guilty in the face of Professor McGonagall's gaze, he still had some murmurs in his heart. I don't know why the old lady has been staring at her. Is his handsome young and old take everything? If Professor McGonagall knew what Lin Xiao was thinking at this moment, he would definitely use transfiguration to turn Lin Xiao into a teacup. But Lin Xiao definitely couldn't guess what Professor McGonagall was thinking at the moment. As a core member of the Order of the Phoenix, how could she not know the news of the Dark Lord's return? When a special case like Lin Xiao appeared on the cusp of such a storm, Professor McGonagall would definitely pay more attention to Lin Xiao. Although Dumbledore said that Lin Xiao should have nothing to do with the Dark Lord. When you're ready, come with me. After speaking, Professor McGonagall turned and walked straight to the closed door behind him. Bang! When Professor McGonagall walked in front of the door, the copper-brown door opened slowly in two. As the auditorium doors opened, the originally noisy auditorium instantly quieted down, and all the students turned to look in the direction of the auditorium door. Professor McGonagall was at the forefront. In the back is a group of 11 or 12-year-old boys and girls. Where have they experienced this kind of battle? If it wasn't for Professor McGonagall leading the way, he might have been too frightened to move under the gaze of many senior students. At first the seniors just stared at the group of freshmen without speaking. Lin Xiao, who entered the auditorium, was like a curious baby all the way, looking at the enchanted ceiling like the night sky, and thousands of white candles floating in the air blessed by magic. The spacious and bright auditorium has 4 long tables. The left and right sides of each table are filled with old students from various colleges. At the front of the auditorium are the seats of professors. When Lin Xiao stepped into this auditorium, the dreamlike illusion disappeared, and there was a sense of reality. When the last Lin Xiao entered the auditorium, at first everyone thought that this handsome student was a late student from which college. However, when Lin Xiao finally stood in the freshman queue and stopped behind Professor McGonagall, he was instantly fried. The surrounding discussions suddenly hummed continuously. Ah! That's a freshman. Can you be this tall now at 11? Merlin's beard. Why does this freshman look like 15 or 16? Is he really a freshman? God, he's so handsome, is he really only 11 years old? What a pity. If only he were older. It's not the guy in the car with Crazy Girl Love Good. He's a freshman, it's a pity that he has something to do with crazy girl. Surprised compared to other students. Hermione and others, who had known about this for a long time, and Luna were particularly calm. When Lin Xiao turned to look at Luna, Luna did not forget to let out a very fairy-like smile. Hermione, is this guy the Lin Xiao you said? Ronald is even mentally prepared. But when he really saw Lin Xiao with his own eyes, he couldn't help but reconfirmed in surprise. Harry didn't speak, but looked at Hermione as well. Hermione held her head high, stretched her snow-white neck and waved to Lin Xiao slightly, and said in a proud tone. It's him, believe it now. Lin Xiao also waved in the direction of Hermione. Not only were the students shocked by Lin Xiao's appearance, but the professors on the classroom seats on the high platform at the front of the auditorium also looked at Lin Xiao in surprise. It can be said that Lin Xiao's entrance ceremony today attracted a lot of attention. Compared to Harry Potter's admission to school 4 years ago, it is no worse than that. Seeing that the students' voices were getting louder and louder, Dumbledore decisively took out his wand and pressed it against his throat. Quiet. Hum. The sound of a sudden explosion in the auditorium startled everyone. Dumbledore's voice blessed with magic was so majestic, all the students who were shocked shut their mouths. Then the headmaster of Hogwarts School of Witchcraft and Wizardry stood up slowly and said. Before the sorting ceremony, I have something to declare in advance. Freshmen, please pay attention. Ban Lin strictly prohibits any students from entering, and the administrator, Mr. Filch, asked me to remind everyone that those who do not want to be tortured to death, please do not enter the corridor on the right on the 4th floor. Thank you. Headmaster Dumbledore's words were brief. Before the sorting ceremony, he repeated this opening remark to the freshmen again and again. Although the old students have long listened to the ear calluses. But the freshmen are hearing it for the first time. Before the discussion between the freshmen started, Professor McGonagall turned around and grabbed the parchment and said aloud to them, whoever I call later will come forward, and I will put the sorting hat on you, and then you will be sorted into your own academies. The hum in the hall faded away. First-year students lined up at a long table facing the rest of the students. Professor McGonagall carefully placed the stool in front of them, then stood behind them. There is an old sorting hat on the stool. The hat is embellished with patches and has a wide slit near the torn edge of the hat. The entire school's teachers and students waited with bated breath. I saw the crack on the edge of the sorting hat open like a mouth, and the sorting hat uttered a song. When I was old I was new. Hogwarts just opened. Founder of the noble school. Although never separated. Come together for a common goal. They have the exact same ideal. That is to create the best magic school in the world. And according to what they have learned. We only teach those with the purest ancestry, Slytherin said. We teach only the wisest, Ravenclaw said. We teach only the bravest, Gryffindor said. I teach everyone, and I treat everyone equally, Hufflepuff said. The warnings of history lie ahead. Hogwarts is in crisis. We must be united. Oh, otherwise don't crash inside. I have to tell you, I have to warn you. Classification starts now. The sorting house fell silent again, and cheers broke out in the hall, all clapping their hands together for the new sorting hat song. Although the sorting hat's new song seems a bit nonsensical. But some people who knew the inside story frowned. Among them is Lin Xiao. Unexpectedly, the sorting hat knew a lot, and it was actually warning the students that Hogwarts was about to face a crisis. After the sorting hat stopped singing, Professor McGonagall opened the long parchment and began calling out the names of the new students. Abby Croby, Ewan. The boy who was called stepped forward tremblingly, and after putting on the sorting hat for a few seconds, the sorting hat shouted loudly. Gryffindor. Cheers and applause erupted from the long table that immediately belonged to Gryffindor House. Zeller, Ross. Hufflepuff. Slowly, the long queue of first-year freshmen gradually shortened. Lin Xiao is getting closer and closer to the forefront of the team. Lin Xiao. When Professor McGonagall called out Lin Xiao's name, everyone in the auditorium turned their attention to this unusually tall freshman. Lin Xiao's heart also trembled violently. To him. The auditorium, which had been noisy because of the freshmen joining the academy, was instantly silent. The professors on the professors' stage also all turned their attention to Lin Xiao, and several professors even started to talk to each other. Lin Xiao felt a little helpless about his last place. You're already conspicuous enough. Now he is still put in the last place for the sorting ceremony. Isn't this to find attention for himself? Lin Xiao walked slowly to the sorting hat under everyone's attention. Grab the sorting hat and sit on the chair. Almost as soon as the Sorting Hat touched Lin Zhao's scalp, there was a sudden exclamation. Ah! Very difficult, very difficult. It's chaotic, there's something blocking me from exploring you, I don't feel blood, I don't feel wisdom, I don't feel brave, but it doesn't belong to Hufflepuff. Merlin's beard, what an interesting guy, let me feel it. Lin Zhao was already in the spotlight from the moment he entered the auditorium. At this moment, when it was his turn to perform the sorting ceremony, the auditorium was extremely quiet, which made the voice of the Sorting Hat very clearly transmitted to everyone's ears. Can't feel it? How can that be? The Sorting Hat is one of the smartest magic items. Not only can he speak and be good at reading minds, but he can also understand people's thoughts, and can see through the capabilities and thoughts of people with hats at a glance. This time, though, the Sorting Hat was clearly in trouble. When it wanted to probe Lin Zhao, there was always a veil-like mist shrouded in his mind, preventing the Sorting Hat from probing Lin Zhao's thoughts. As time flows, many people started whispering. What's going on? The Sorting Hat never took so long. You just said something was blocking the Sorting Hat's detection, did you hear that? I heard, no wonder this kid can be in the same car with the crazy girl Lovegood, it's really evil. Oh, it's fine if you don't come to Slytherin anyway, there are no Asians in the Pureblood family, Lin Zhao also waited a little impatiently. Simply muttered. Hey, can you do it? If you can't, just divide it into a college. Although the Sorting Hat is just a magical item, it also has its own mind. It can also appear once a year. It waits for this day every year to enjoy the cheers, shocks and emotions of the new students. It is also very uncomfortable for him to be stuck here with Lin Zhao. The Sorting Hat, don't question me, boy, I am made up of the minds of the 4 great founders of Hogwarts, and I know you want to go to Gryffindor or Ravenclaw. Humph, but you don't have the qualities of these 2 academies, you are just for 2 young witches. Maybe it made Lin Zhao angry. The Sorting Hat also quietly cleaned Lin Zhao's mind in a very low voice. Although something is preventing me from exploring you, I still see a clue. Send me to Gryffindor. Lin Zhao couldn't hang up after being exposed by the Sorting Hat, and quickly expressed his demands. In case the Sorting Hat opened its mouth and grinned. That Hermione and Luna had to stay away from him. Compared to Ravenclaw, Lin Zhao still chose Gryffindor. Oh. I see, you have a brave heart and a fearless adventurous spirit. This can't be hard on me. Grand Finder. The Sorting Hat quickly reached an agreement with Lin Zhao. Loudly assign Lin Zhao to Gryffindor. Whoa! The long table belonging to the Gryffindor burst into warm cheers and applause, welcoming the new students of their academy. Although this new student is full of weirdness. Lin Zhao took off the Sorting Hat and put it on the bench and walked towards the Gryffindor long table. Here. Lin Zhao, come to me. Just as Lin Zhao was about to find a seat to sit down, Hermione, who was sitting at the front of the long table, waved her hand happily. After all, the two have a relationship. And Hermione was still curious about Lin Zhao. And it is this curiosity that makes Hermione always want to find the answer. Sitting next to Hermione, Lin Zhao immediately saw Harry and Ronald across from him. Hey, hello, my name is Ronald Weasley, and I heard Hermione say you're 16, is that true? Lin Zhao just took his seat. Ronald across from him couldn't wait to ask. Lin Zhao nodded generously with a smile, what Hermione said is true, I am indeed almost 16 years old. Wow, Harry, this is 16, this is the first time this has happened at Hogwarts in hundreds of years. The last time something like this was weird was fire. Ronald was yelling. When he said the goblet of fire, he quickly closed his mouth. I don't know why. Harry felt a little irritable now, and he just gave a brief introduction and ignored Lin Zhao. Instead, Lin Zhao glanced at Harry with interest. Already starting to be affected by Voldemort's soul shards? When the sorting ceremony is over. All the long tables suddenly appeared countless exquisite food and various beverages. The huge auditorium was no longer noisy. Only the sound of the knife and fork hitting the porcelain plate. The meals at Hogwarts are cooked by hundreds of house elves, and every dish is delicious. Even Lin Zhao, who doesn't have a cold for Western food, is very addicted to eating it. He has even begun to figure out how to have a house elf of his own. In the middle, Lin Zhao also kept talking and laughing with Hermione. Let's get closer to each other. Compared to before, now the two belong to the same college, Hermione is more close to Lin Zhao. Soon. When everyone had almost eaten, Dumbledore slowly got up and came to the front of the teacher's desk. Good evening, boys, we have 2 faculty changes this year. We are honored to welcome back Professor Grubblyplank, who will reteach the Conservation of Magical Creatures class, and Professor Hagrid's temporary departure. Harry, do you know where Hagrid is going? Hermione heard that Hagrid was temporarily leaving and asked Harry in a low voice. Harry shook his head to show he wasn't sure. The complexion is not very good. Meanwhile, we welcome our new defense against the dark arts teacher, Professor Dolores Umbridge, and I think everyone and I wish the new professor well, as usual. Just as Dumbledore was about to continue with some matters that needed attention, a strange voice suddenly interrupted his speech. This sound is weird. Like crying, like coughing, aha. Professor Dumbledore glanced back. Umbridge, the new defense against the dark arts professor, wiped his mouth elegantly, folded his hands together and slowly got up. But this action caused bursts of laughter. The reason is that everyone can see that Professor Umbridge has a move to get up, but he can't see the slightest change in his height behind the professor's stage. Even a little bit shorter. Professor Umbridge walked around the teacher's desk and walked forward. All over the body is pink clothing and decoration, pink cardigan, pink woolen hat, only the high heels are black. But the odd proportions look like a pink toad walking upright. She was there at my hearing and she worked for Fudge. Harry lowered his voice and said to his two good friends. Thank you, Headmaster. I must say it's a pleasure to be back at Hogwarts, she said with a grin that showed her very jutting teeth. Thank you for the warm welcome and what a pleasure to meet you lovely, lively little ones. Face. I'm sure we'll be good friends. Professor Umbridge's voice was high-pitched and fast, causing many students to feel a sense of disgust for no reason. Professor Snape's right hand rested on his chin. Turning his head to the side, rubbing his chin with his index finger and thumb, he watched Professor Umbridge's performance indifferently. Sudden. Snape felt a gaze fall on him. His eyes turned. It turned out to be the 16-year-old freshman. Snape didn't care about Lin Zhao's sight at first, but at this moment he could see the distress in Lin Zhao's sight. Originally, Snape thought it was his own eyes. But when the freshman looked at him with a heartache and nodded slightly, Snape suddenly became angry. Lin Zhao didn't mind what the pink toad on stage was saying. He was feeling sorry for Professor Snape right now. If it wasn't for Umbridge sudden parachuting to Hogwarts, this year's defense against the dark arts professor would have fallen on Snape. Feeling sorry for Snape for a second. And one who knows the Harry Potter world knows that Snape's biggest failure is having a villain's face. Always in love with Lily. He has been wandering in the shadows as a response to the Order of the Phoenix. Has been silently protecting Harry Potter. All misunderstandings were resolved just before death. But Lin Zhao felt distressed. Little did he know that the emotion he unintentionally revealed just now made Snape remember this kid immediately, and directly judged him to be a disgusting student. This is not a good thing. Certainly. Lin Zhao didn't know that this would bring him trouble. Another one, this is the 5th defense against the dark arts class. Ronald lowered his voice and leaned towards Harry. Harry had a relieved look on his face. As long as it's not Snape. If the tradition goes on, this Umbridge is still a year away from leaving Hogwarts. Harry and Ronald smiled at each other, teasing Umbridge. Hermione smiled and shook her head. We come here to change defense against the dark arts professors every year, and this is the 5th one. The first few ended badly. How could Lin Zhao not know? The first Professor Quirrell, let Voldemort parasitize his own body and die. Second Professor Gilderoy Lockhart, narcissist and liar, ends up in hospital. The third Professor Remus John Lupin, a werewolf, resigned voluntarily, the ending died in battle. The fourth Professor Alastair Moody, Auror, resigned, death in the finale. Fifth Professor Dolores Jane Umbridge, Deputy Minister of Magic, life imprisonment. The sixth Professor, Severus Snape, was killed. Seventh Amicus Carrow, Death Eater, subdued by the unforgivable curse. It can be said. It is no exaggeration to say that defense against the dark arts is the most dangerous profession in the Harry Potter world. Although Lin Zhao knew about this, he could only look at Hermione with a surprised look, and made a move to ask questions. But without waiting for Lin Zhao to speak, Hermione took the lead with a silent gesture. And Professor Umbridge in front of her continued her ridiculous speech. Only. This time, her voice lacked urgency, but instead conveyed it in a dry voice. The Ministry of Magic has always believed that it is very important to educate young wizards, and that the precious gifts that accompany your birth will be lost without careful education and guidance. Although successive principals have brought a new look to this historic school, progress for progress's sake needs to stop. Let's keep what should be maintained, improve what should be improved, and discard measures that should be banned. After speaking, Umbridge let out that strange laugh again and returned to the back of the classroom desk. The sparse applause below is full of all kinds of ridicule. Most of the students took Professor Umbridge's words as fart. Of course there are exceptions. For example, Filch, the janitor, was desperately holding his hands alone, and his ugly face squeezed out an excited smile. In his opinion, what Professor Umbridge said makes sense. This group of students just lacks too many rules and school rules that should be perfected. Although the presence of Umbridge in the middle caused some appetite, Lin Xiao was very satisfied with everything that happened today. The welcome party ended quickly. "Oh, Ronald, we should take the freshman to the dorm, don't eat it." Hermione slapped him hard when Ronald, who was still eating dessert at the end of the party, got annoyed. "Lin Xiao, Ronald and I are prefects. You can call me if you have something." Hermione turned her head and said proudly to Lin Xiao. "What? Prefect?" Lin Xiao was startled. He had forgotten that Hermione and Ronald became Gryffindor prefects in 5th grade. "Wow, Hermione, you are actually a prefect. Can I ask you about my studies?" Lin Xiao said happily. Hermione gave a very sweet smile and said, "No problem, I usually like to read in the library or the Gryffindor lounge. Of course, most of the time in the library. You can come to me anytime." Lin Xiao also nodded with a smile, saying that he would definitely go to the library to find Hermione. That's it. Belonging to Lin Xiao's life at Hogwarts School of Witchcraft and Wizardry began. Levitation is one of the most basic magics. You have to cooperate with the spell, read it with me. Wingardium Leviosa, be gentle with the wand-waving action, and don't use too much force. In a Hogwarts classroom, Charms Professor Filius Flitwick is teaching first-year students how to cast the levitation charm while stepping on books that are perched high on a chair. Professor Flitwick is the Dean of Ravenclaw College. Coached at Hogwarts for decades. Even though he is only about 1 meter tall, he is powerful and respected. A wave and a shake, the action should be decisive but not too rigid, nor too soft, master the rhythm. Come, shake with me. Professor Flitwick taught carefully. The surrounding first-year students also followed suit. But Lin Xiao was in a daze at the moment. Because Lin Xiao found that the option to be activated in the Supreme Mage system suddenly lit up. At the same time, there is a somewhat speechless bonus quest. Powerful mages often show outstanding talent early, and only powerful mages are more powerful. Reward task, show outstanding magical talent and amazing talent, and get 20 points for Gryffindor. Success rewards astral projection ability. Lin Xiao was a little dumbfounded at the moment. Astral projection. This is one of the more powerful and representative abilities mastered by Supreme Mage. Astral projection can isolate one's spiritual body. In this state, there is no need to breathe, eat, or sleep, and is not subject to the laws of physics, and can penetrate objects and become invisible. In this way, Lin Xiao has more time to practice spells. But problems followed. That's how to get 20 points for Gryffindor. The easiest way to get grades is to show good performance in class to win the approval of professors and earn points. But such scores add up. 1 point won't give too much. "Oh, Mr. Lin Xiao, what's the problem with you? Why don't you wave your wand along?" Everyone, remember that the release of magic requires gestures and spells. Of course, you will learn what a silent spell is in the future. Professor Flitwick noticed that Lin Xiao was in a daze, and kindly reminded him to keep up with the rhythm. Lin Xiao also came back to his senses at this time. Silent curse. Got it. Professor Flitwick saw Lin Xiao regain his senses, and when he was about to turn his head, a scene that shocked him appeared in front of him. I saw Lin Xiao holding the wand and shaking it lightly. The feathers in front of him rose out of thin air and slowly floated into the air. It even moved slowly in the direction Lin Xiao's wand pointed. But he didn't hear Lin Xiao chanting the spell. Do not. It should be said that Lin Xiao never opened his mouth at all. Silent curse. Merlin's beard. God. Silent floating charm, how is this possible? Classmates, genius. Look, it's great, Mr. Lin Xiao succeeded. Professor Flitwick's body trembled uncontrollably. Mr. Lin Xiao, have you studied magic? Are you a pureblood wizard family? Lin Xiao grabbed the dove tree wand and controlled the feathers and said, No, Professor, I'm a muggle family, I haven't learned magic, I just forgot to say the spell, but I don't know why it worked. Professor Flitwick was like a child at the moment, oh my god. You are a genius at learning magic. You actually learned the silent floating spell. Gryffindor plus 3 points. Hearing the success bonus, Lin Xiao smiled. Really? Just as he thought. As for the silent floating spell. Pooh. This is just an illusion made by psychic power. But no matter what. Lin Xiao has already obtained the points he needs. Soon the news that Lin Xiao used the silent spell to score 3 points for Gryffindor Academy in the first spell class spread instantly. Caused an uproar. It's not uncommon to master the levitation spell in the first lesson. It is not uncommon for a certain Zhou Ku to master the silent spell in the first class. Shockingly. A first-year freshman cast a difficult spell, the silent levitation charm, without anyone teaching him in his first spell class. Where is Lin Xiao now? It felt like someone was talking about him. Just when Lin Xiao was about to go to the defense against the dark arts classroom, he ran into Hermione on the way. Hermione was in a hurry at the moment. Holding a thick stack of books in his arms, his hair was still fluffy and messy. But it has a different charm. Hi, Hermione, where are you going? Lin Xiao stopped and greeted Hermione. Hermione saw Lin Xiao's footsteps stop. His eyes lit up and hurried towards Lin Xiao. I heard that you used the silent levitation charm this morning. How is that possible? Did you study with someone before entering school? Impossible. Hermione's mind was now full of Lin Xiao's use of the silent charm. This is a high-level magic spell skill that they have not learned yet, how can it be self-taught? Have you heard? Just don't say the spell. Make the wand movement normally, but just recite the spell in your heart. Although Lin Xiao used telekinesis to complete it. But he still understood the principle of the silent spell. No, the book says that you should try to be proficient with spells first, so that you can accurately release magic. Hermione disagreed. He has been emphasizing to Lin Xiao not to use the silent spell at will, it will not benefit him. Lin Xiao just shrugged. Before parting, Hermione suddenly turned around, bit her lip and said embarrassedly, "Can you teach me the silent mantra at night? I want to learn." Lin Xiao was a little stupid. He pretended to be a silent mantra with psychic power, how could he know that? But it was this hesitation. Makes Hermione unhappy. Hermione is very strong and eager for new knowledge. As for making this request with Lin Xiao, it took all the courage to say it, and seeing Lin Xiao annoyed himself because of Hermione. Not much to say. Leave with a toss of hair. Lin Xiao couldn't see that Hermione was a little unhappy, and hurriedly shouted, "Okay, I'll teach you, meet in front of the library at night." Hermione paused as she left. Although he didn't answer, he left with a smile on his lips. A crime. Lin Xiao just finished saying this, but his bowels are turning green. He can do a wool silent spell. Never mind. A dead horse at night as a living horse doctor. But the thought of having a chance to be alone with Hermione at night made me feel very happy. It took a while to chat with Hermione. When Lin Xiao arrived at the defense against the dark arts classroom, he was already late. Professor Umbridge, still wearing a pink wool cardigan, was talking on the podium. Mr. Lin Xiao, I didn't expect you to learn what it means to be late for the first class. It seems that you didn't learn the rules of Hogwarts very well. Professor Umbridge slowly walked not far from Lin Xiao, raised his neck and said with a smile. But say smile. Lin Xiao thought it was no better than crying to see where he was going. I heard that you used the silent floating spell in the morning. It seems that Mr. Lin Xiao is very talented in spells, but he doesn't know how to abide by the school rules. He learned to be late for the first class. Umbridge's words were extremely harsh, making Lin Xiao feel very uncomfortable. But he didn't dare to speak back now. After all, Lin Xiao still had to accumulate 20 academy points in order to obtain astral projection. All incumbent professors have the ability to reward and punish points. If Umbridge is unhappy and deducts the 3 points he just got, it will not be worth the gain. I'm sorry, Professor, I'm not very familiar with the Hogwarts terrain, and I'm going the wrong way. Lin Xiao said while holding back his anger. In this case, in order for you to have a profound lesson, Gryffindor is 3 points late because Mr. Lin Xiao, I hope you won't be late again next time. You see, this is what you need to keep. Humph. After speaking, Professor Umbridge shrugged and shyly turned around and walked towards the podium. I ignored Lin Xiao with a gloomy face. Professor Umbridge was a little annoyed by Harry's confrontation this morning, and just took this opportunity to vent his emotions. Lin Xiao returned to act. Enter the Supreme Mage system, and take a look. Really? The 3-point score that was just obtained in the morning has disappeared, and all display is 0. This made Lin Zhao's anger keep pouring out. The look at Umbridge was full of anger and hatred. I didn't want to get involved with this walking toad, and it seemed that I couldn't let him stay out of it. This course of yours has been broken and incomplete, and this year I'm going to change those things. This year we're going to have a proper, centered, ministry-approved defense against the dark arts course. Saying that, Umbridge waved his wand. A stack of books on the teaching platform flew into each student's hands. You are now starting to learn the theoretical basis from me. Only by mastering the theoretical basis can you become a qualified wizard who has contributed to the wizarding world and is beneficial to the Ministry of Magic. The freshmen turned a few pages with their books in hand. But there is not even a single spell about defensive magic in the book. But none of the freshmen spoke. After all, they were all just 11 or 12-year-old freshmen. But Lin Zhao couldn't hold back the restlessness in his heart at all, and he meant to be tough on Umbridge. However, just as Lin Zhao was speaking, in my mind, the Supreme Mage system has another task to be triggered. The dignity of the Supreme Master is not allowed to be tainted by anyone, let alone disrespectful to the Supreme Master. To become the Supreme Master, you must be fearless. Bonus task, deny Umbridge's point of view and do what you think is right. Success is rewarded with a suspended cloak. Suspended cloak. Lin Zhao's body trembled, and his eyes suddenly lit up. This is an artifact. Indestructible, able to resist physical and magical attacks for the wearer. Can make people float. And it flies super fast. The most commendable thing is that it has autonomous consciousness, and it can also change its appearance according to the spell to disguise itself as various clothes. This made Lin Zhao's mood of deducting 3 points suddenly improved. Lin Zhao watched the words at the top of the quest reward and fell silent. Really? Because he was afraid of deducting points, he was indifferent to Umbridge's punishment, and even a little scared. This is not the attitude of an opener. In the face of the wrong things, you should fight according to reason, and how can you become a strong person who is afraid of your head and tail? And this suspended cloak is too fragrant. That being the case. Anyway, I've been unhappy with Umbridge for a long time, so you have to block it in your heart once. Professor, I have a problem. Lin Zhao, who had made a decision in his heart, raised his hand and shouted loudly. At this moment, Lin Zhao is still timid, and looking at Umbridge, his eyes are full of confidence and fearlessness. It seems that the trigger just now taught you to obey the rules. Is there any problem with Mr. Lin Zhao? Umbridge is very satisfied with Lin Zhao's performance. He happily used his wand to point in the direction of Lin Zhao out of thin air. Indicates that you can speak. Lin Zhao cleared his throat and asked coldly, Professor, if danger is coming, don't we freshmen need some protection? Umbridge's smile froze, and he barely kept his smile back. How can there be danger? You will not encounter danger at Hogwarts. There is no danger in this wizarding world now. And even if there is danger, the Ministry of Magic will handle it properly. So there's something wrong with that. Having said that, Umbridge still maintains the smile that she thinks is elegant and lovely. But in the next second, Lin Zhao directly released a big move. Harry Potter said that Voldemort is back. And Professor Dumbledore also stated that Voldemort is back and even stronger. Don't we need to do anything? Or do you think Voldemort's return is a lie? Whoa. When Lin Zhao uttered the words Voldemort, all the freshmen felt cold all over. It was like being thrown into an ice cellar suddenly. They never dreamed that someone would dare to call the Dark Lord's name, whose name could not even be mentioned. Aha! Umbridge's expression froze, and he couldn't keep his smile any longer. Staring at Lin Zhao. In the morning, she punished Harry Potter for this matter, and now a freshman even dared to mention it. It's turned upside down. Sure enough, Dumbledore had been walking around Hogwarts with news that threatened the Ministry of Magic. Otherwise, how could a first-year freshman know this? Certainly. Lin Zhao is a little older, but still a freshman. Maybe. This 16-year-old freshman might have been arranged by Dumbledore in the lower grades for the fishing reel, in order to influence the minds of these immature students. Umbridge took a deep breath. Suppress your anger. Just as he was about to speak, a critical attack from Lin Zhao struck again. Dumbledore is the most powerful wizard in the wizarding world right now. He's been on guard for Voldemort's comeback. But what is the Ministry of Magic doing? Someone is afraid of persecutory paranoia and always thinks that Professor Dumbledore wants to take his place. I bother. That is, the Daily Prophet has some people in control, otherwise why would anyone say that Dumbledore is old and confused? Lin Zhao's battle value is max at this moment, and his firepower is full. Umbridge didn't expect Lin Xiao, a first-year freshman, to say such sharp words, and he didn't react for a while. But the crit from Lin Xiao did not stop. Isn't the dignified Deputy Minister of Magic to serve at Hogwarts just to seize power, a joke, a completely rash opinion? Do you really think Hogwarts will be better with the Ministry of Magic intervening? How can someone who doesn't even dare to admit Voldemort's return can lead the wizarding world in England? And you, what kind of girly powder do you wear when you are quite old? No one would have thought that Lin Xiao's mouth was so sharp, every word was pearly. A violent storm of output directly made the classroom silent. All the first-year freshmen stared at the tall figure in astonishment. Is this guy crazy? Not to mention the other identity of Umbridge. Just being a professor of defense against the dark arts at Hogwarts is enough for him to eat a pot. Shut up. Confinement. Close confinement. Shut up. Gryffindor will deduct 5 points and you will come to my office in a while. You will be very happy to receive ideological education with the most famous senior in your Gryffindor Academy. Umbridge suddenly burst into a very thick scream. Lin Xiao, sir, you and Mr. Potter, already dropped 15 points for Gryffindor before things, hope you won't be talking about it before it gets worse. Umbridge roared at Lin Xiao, suppressing his anger. He looked around at the terrified students. That's when I realized my blunder, aha. Mr. Potter and Headmaster Dumbledore have communicated to the outside world that the unnamed wizard has been resurrected, but I want to tell everyone that these are lies. The Ministry of Magic can guarantee that no one will be in danger because of any dark wizard. Since you are so worried, then come to my office every night with your most famous senior in Gryffindor to accept my help. With that, Umbridge let out his signature weird laugh again. Also have students open their books. After this trouble. In the whole class, no one spoke again except for Umbridge's slow teaching voice. Umbridge also looked at Lin Xiao occasionally. But Lin Xiao's reaction was unexpected, and he wasn't annoyed by the impending confinement. Rather excited. This puzzled Umbridge. Lin Xiao was completely immersed in the Supreme Master system in this class. Because it just showed that he has completed the task well and received the reward, hovering cloak. The only thing that is missing. Missions that reward, astral projection, now display -5 points. But with the reward and consolation of the floating cloak, Lin Xiao felt much better. Anyway, he is very clear now. He and Umbridge Liangzi are also completely forged. When Harry came to Professor Umbridge's office, it was no surprise to see Lin Xiao. Not many students at Hogwarts. Anything that happens can quickly reach everyone's ears. As a new incoming freshman, Lin Xiao is now undoubtedly the most famous student. In the first lesson of spells, he used a silent spell that the seniors had not learned yet. He contradicted Umbridge in defense against the Dark Arts class, and made statements in support of Harry Potter and Professor Dumbledore's claims of the Dark Lord's resurrection. It can be said to be full of topics. Harry didn't understand why this new student named Lin Xiao would agree with the news of Voldemort's resurrection. But even so, Harry just nodded to Lin Xiao. It was very late when Harry and Lin Xiao left Professor Umbridge's office. Lin Xiao didn't even have time to say goodbye to Harry. Run towards the direction of the library. He had a deal with Hermione. It was so late that Hermione was still waiting for him at the entrance of the library. Lin Xiao rushed to the library. I kept looking at the bloody back of my hand, there was a line of characters on it at the moment, I can't lie. Yes. What Lin Xiao just received was the vicious teaching from Umbridge. A unique feather pen. Corporal punishment magic used exclusively for punishment and torture. If he wasn't worried about deducting more points, how could Lin Xiao pay attention to the toad that was walking upright? One day sooner or later. Lin Xiao will definitely make Umbridge understand the consequences of angering him. Now. Library door. Hermione was pacing anxiously back and forth holding a stack of books. She had just heard that Harry and Lin Xiao were all imprisoned by the old witch Umbridge. One is his good friend. The other is a friend I just met. But the thought of Harry and Ronald with Hermione was a little better. But when I think of Lin Xiao, Hermione was actually a little worried. Maybe they were both born in a Muggle family and had the same view of Voldemort, which made Hermione become a lot closer to Lin Xiao unknowingly. Just then, a figure in the distance ran to Hermione panting. Hoo-hoo Hermione, I'm sorry, I was just shut down by that pink toad. Hoo-hoo, shut down, didn't wait too long. Lin Xiao asked while leaning on his legs. Pfft, Hermione laughed when Lin Xiao described Umbridge as a pink toad. No, did you see Harry? He was called by that pink toad to lock up too. Hermione said mischievously. Lin Xiao nodded. Let's go. Aren't we going to learn the silent spell? It's not very convenient here, let's go to a quieter place. Seeing that there were still students around, Lin Xiao pulled Hermione up and was about to leave. The sudden move startled Hermione. Fortunately, Lin Xiao didn't pull Hermione's palm, but only pulled her arm so that Hermione didn't resist too much. But it was Lin Xiao's action that made Hermione see the bloody back of his hand. I can't lie. When Lin Xiao dragged Hermione to an empty classroom, Hermione shook off Lin Xiao's palm without a trace. Hermione pointed to the words on the back of Lin Xiao's hand and asked. The back of your hand? Lin Xiao lifted it up and pretended to be relaxed. Pink Toad's little trick, it doesn't matter. Hermione understood that Lin Xiao was trying to get stronger, and did not continue to ask, but she had already started searching for the knowledge she had learned in the herbal medicine class in her mind. Hey, here are the feathers I've prepared. Lin Xiao didn't know what Hermione was thinking. He took out a white feather from his cuff and placed it on the ground. Put on an inscrutable expression. Hermione watched without interrupting. She knew that this was Lin Xiao preparing to teach herself the silent spell. In fact, Hermione was a little unconvinced. But in the case that the thirst for knowledge prevailed, he still carefully watched Lin Xiao's every move. Lin Xiao silently took out his wand and waved it. Lin Xiao, you're wrong, you're swinging too hard and the shaking is too light, which is very important. Seeing Lin Xiao's irregular movements, Hermione immediately reminded her. But next second, I saw that piece of feather floated up and fluttered in the direction of Lin Xiao's wand. Lin Xiao glanced sideways at Hermione. It was funny to see her lips parted in surprise and surprised expression. What a wand move. He doesn't need it at all. In order to stimulate Hermione a little, Lin Xiao waved his wand again. Of course it's still pretty standard. Several chairs not far away even floated up. Now Hermione was dumbfounded. She felt that there was a problem with the textbook she had always believed in. How could this be possible? Not to mention the silent spell. The book says that the magic spell must be combined with the corresponding spell and the wand-waving action to be cast, and there is no problem at all. How is it possible? The actions are so non-standard, the professor didn't teach it like this. Hermione was somewhat suspicious of life at the moment. She couldn't figure out why Lin Xiao could use such high-skill magic as the silent levitation charm with just a seemingly random swipe. She is a scholar. To be refreshed by a first-year freshman? Although this first-year freshman is a little old, Lin Xiao has just started to get in touch with magic. Lin Xiao saw that the heat was almost over. Using telekinesis to return the chair and feathers to their original positions, he cleared his throat. Cough cough. In fact, the silent spell is the same as the one you are learning, it's just a silent recitation of the spell. Although you may not be used to it at first. It takes practice. Hermione, do you know the advantages of silent spells? Hermione was still in shock though. But when Lin Xiao asked the question, the standard answer immediately blurted out from Hermione's mouth. It's faster and more concealed. In the battle, the opponent will not know what kind of spell the caster uses, and the spell casting speed is faster and more beneficial without the chanting link. Hermione looked proud when she said the correct answer. It looks like he has finally pulled a game back. Yes, then try it, you must recite the spell silently. As for the swinging of the stick, it doesn't need to be so standard. It's just a way of guidance, and it doesn't need to be too mechanized. Although Lin Xiao said so. But Hermione was still serious about his wand swing. Very standard every time. Perhaps this is due to the persistence and perseverance of the scholar. No. You have to be more decisive and don't blame yourself for not reciting the spell. The body should not be too rigid. Oops, Hermione, you're so tense, relax, breathe, oops. How does Lin Xiao know how to teach silent mantras? But he will still pretend. He even put his hand over Hermione's mouth on purpose to get her used to silently swinging the staff. Lin Xiao, I can understand you covering my mouth, but why are you holding my waist? Hermione looked down at her waist and looked at Lin Xiao with murderous eyes. Lin Xiao quickly let go of his hands and pretended not to understand. Habit, didn't pay attention. Although Hermione kept throwing her eyes at Lin Xiao, their relationship was progressing by leaps and bounds. Finally. At Hermione, I don't know how long I have tried. The feathers really floated up leisurely. And she didn't chant the spell. Wow, my God. Lin Xiao, I succeeded, silent spell, I will. Hermione's cheeks were flushed, and she screamed excitedly. This is an advanced technique. She actually learned it ahead of time under Lin Zhao's guidance. Lin Zhao was dumbfounded. What the hell? Hermione really learned? Well, good. Hermione, you are very talented, remember this feeling. Many spells are mastered, just try a lot. Lin Zhao pretended to have a teachable expression and said. Hermione looked at Lin Zhao happily. Suddenly. He bit his lips and asked cautiously. Then, tomorrow, will you teach me other silent spells? Or contact me, okay? In Hermione's view. Now she can use the silent floating charm all thanks to Lin Zhao. She was still a little unsure about the rest of the silent spell study, and hoped that Lin Zhao could continue to give some pointers. But Lin Zhao was a little confused. Teaching what? He won't. Should he teach Hermione how to use camouflage magic? But suddenly Lin Zhao looked at Hermione and had an idea. Hermione is a serious scholar. Grade 1. Knowledge reserves are extremely rich. If Hermione had a small stove, maybe it would be easy to get some college points in class. And what he paid was only to move his lips. Having figured out all this, Lin Zhao looked at Hermione like a big bad wolf looking at a little sheep again, and he almost laughed badly. Hermione also stared at Lin Zhao a little hairy. Not sure what he meant. Okay, how about you help me open a small stove in exchange? It is good. It turned out to be so. Hermione didn't expect Lin Zhao to be such a motivated person, and immediately agreed happily. The following week. Lin Zhao's academic performance in various subjects improved by leaps and bounds. Thanks to Hermione's careful remedial classes, she even got 13 college points for her excellent performance in class. And Hermione is also making rapid progress in the field of silent spells. Already able to skillfully apply many basic silent spells. And Lin Zhao and Harry faced the last day of Professor Umbridge's confinement. The two who completed the confinement in Professor Umbridge's office walked out of Professor Umbridge's office. Just when Lin Zhao rubbed the back of his hand and was about to leave. Harry suddenly stopped Lin Zhao. Hey, Lin Zhao, want to chat? Lin Zhao did not refuse Harry's request. When the two came to a secluded place. Harry asked directly. A lot of people don't believe me and Professor Dumbledore, why are you so sure Voldemort is resurrected? Lin Zhao was silent for a moment and did not answer. He couldn't say that he knew the contents of the 7 Harry Potter books by heart, could he? Not to mention knowing that Voldemort was resurrected. He knew it was more than that. Even better than Harry Potter himself. I feel that my sixth sense is more accurate since I was a child. Lin Zhao simply gave an ambiguous reason. Harry didn't expect Lin Zhao to answer like that. He never expected to get such an answer, and he was embarrassed for a while. But next second. Harry suddenly felt extremely irritable. I don't know if Lin Zhao's answer exceeded his expectations, or if he didn't get the answer he wanted, but he was just very irritable. Don't know why. Since Voldemort's successful resurrection, Harry knew something was wrong with him. Lin Zhao saw Harry's expression and immediately knew what was going on. He wasn't even trained in occlumency from Snape. If there's nothing else, I'll go first. Lin Zhao waited for a long time without waiting for a reply, and simply parted with Harry. Now was not the time to have an affair with Harry. Due to the influence of Voldemort's soul fragments in Harry's body, Harry is suitable for contact at this moment, regardless of his temperament or state. There was even a chance that Voldemort was looking at him through Harry. He didn't want to expose himself to Voldemort. If you were thinking about ordering something from yourself, the current self was no match for Voldemort. And he didn't have as many connections and people willing to help him as Harry had. When Lin Zhao came to the classroom that he had agreed to with Hermione, he heard unexpected news from Hermione. Professor Dumbledore is waiting for you, he said the password is ZZBs. Professor Dumbledore? Lin Zhao was stunned, he didn't understand why Professor Dumbledore was looking for him at this time. If it was because he contradicted Umbridge in defense against the dark arts class or because he said Voldemort had returned. Then you should find yourself. Rather than procrastinating. Hermione, do you know why Professor Dumbledore is looking for me? Faced with Lin Zhao's question, Hermione just shook her head and said she wasn't sure. Right. There are many things Dumbledore does that few understand. The only wizard Voldemort was afraid of, but he looked longer than most. Then go to Headmaster Dumbledore first. I'm going to see Harry too. He's been in a bad state recently, and he's always showing a weird mood. Hermione was a little apprehensive about Harry. Harry hasn't been in great shape since Goblet of Fire time. She was also anxious in her eyes. The headmaster's office, like the 4 Hogwarts lounges, requires a password to enter. The headmaster's office is guarded by a huge stone beast. Behind the stone beast is an automatic spiral staircase. At the top of the staircase is the office door, a shiny oak door with a brass door knocker in the shape of a griffin. This was the first time Lin Xiao came to the principal's office. The principal's office is a spacious and beautiful circular room. All the old principals were snoring in their respective photo frames at the moment, completely unaware of Lin Xiao's arrival. "Oh, Mr. Lin Xiao, I've been meaning to talk to you. It looks like Professor Umbridge's confinement time is over, right?" Dumbledore saw Lin Xiao with a very kind smile. "Yes, Professor Dumbledore, today is the last day. I actually wanted to talk to you for a long time, but in order not to cause unnecessary trouble, I think today is the right time." Dumbledore said and waved his wand. Immediately, a cup of fruit brew appeared in front of Lin Xiao and floated in front of him. "Professor Dumbledore, do you have any business with me?" Lin Xiao ignored the fruit brew floating in front of him, and asked Dumbledore directly. "Mr. Lin Xiao, it takes a lot of courage to say Voldemort's return at this time, but I think you'd better not talk about this topic in front of Umbridge. Perhaps you don't know. She also has the status of Deputy Minister of Magic. I don't want you to get involved in trouble." Having said that, Dumbledore slowly got up from his chair and looked down at Lin Xiao condescendingly. He didn't give Lin Xiao a chance to speak. "Go on. You're smarter than I thought, but you're also more mysterious than I thought. Don't you have anything to say to me, Mr. Lin Xiao?" After speaking, Dumbledore stared at Lin Xiao for a moment. It's like seeing through Lin Xiao. Lin Xiao was silent in the face of such Dumbledore. It is impossible for Dumbledore to know his secret, but he instinctively thinks that he is not simple, and it is indeed a bit scary. No wonder he is the most powerful wizard in the wizarding world right now. But Lin Xiao couldn't speak rashly. Otherwise, this would not only provoke Dumbledore's sensitivities about Voldemort's return, but would also put himself on the cusp. He didn't want to get involved in the war between Voldemort and Dumbledore right now. He is too weak. Lin Xiao was silent. Dumbledore didn't rush, just waited quietly. A long time. Lin Xiao said calmly. "I simply believe that Voldemort has been successfully resurrected, and I believe what you and Harry Potter said." Dumbledore raised his eyelids and laughed. Go back, don't make Miss Granger wait too long. By the way, try not to provoke Professor Umbridge, there are many things I can't do right now." Lin Xiao nodded slightly, indicating that he understood. However, just as Lin Xiao was about to leave the principal's office, Dumbledore's voice came slowly again. Dumbledore's voice was ethereal. Like a murmur. It was like speaking to Lin Xiao again. It's been a long time since anyone had the guts to call Voldemort that. Lin Xiao froze slightly. Then he walked out of the principal's office as usual. On the way, Lin Xiao fell into deep thought. Sloppy. It seemed that Dumbledore noticed something strange about himself saying the words Voldemort directly. Voldemort. The biggest villain in this Harry Potter world, the final boss. Known by the wizarding world as the man whose name cannot even be mentioned. The name Voldemort was protected by a spell from the Death Eaters. Once someone spoke it, it would break the magical barrier, causing a disturbance and making it easier for the Death Eaters to track down, so Voldemort was called the one who couldn't even mention his name. And just now, he called his name directly, without any fear. This says a lot. The most intuitive way is to show that you are not afraid of Voldemort or Death Eaters. As expected of Dumbledore. It is possible to find clues from such subtleties. Compared to Dumbledore, who has lived for over 100 years, Lin Xiao is still young. However, this is not a problem for Lin Xiao. After all, no matter what purpose Lin Xiao had, at least it was definitely not a Death Eater or an evil force. Dumbledore had no reason to waste time on himself. With Umbridge punishing after confinement ends. Lin Xiao's life at Hogwarts gradually became more formal. Studying various courses during the day. In the evening, I would occasionally read books in the library with Hermione, or accompany Hermione to find some places to practice silent mantras. The relationship between Lin Xiao and Hermione has also grown by leaps and bounds in this harmonious atmosphere. The overall atmosphere of Gryffindor College is quite good. As time goes by, Lin Xiao gradually became acquainted with some senior students, and became closer to Harry and Ronald. Of course, this is all because of Hermione's existence. Whenever Hermione, Harry, and Ronald were chatting in the common room, Hermione would always stop Lin Xiao. And this is of course thanks to Lin Xiao, the pink toad of Umbridge, who was able to say the words Voldemort bravely. There is even a faint tendency to integrate into their small group. But Lin Xiao also has his own troubles. Because the damn college score is stuck at 17 points, and the last 3 points can't be obtained. This made Lin Xiao quite uncomfortable. Astral projection is a particularly extraordinary ability. As long as he can master this ability, it will be a qualitative leap for Lin Xiao. Oh, dear Lin Xiao, you are indeed very talented in magic spells, but I can't give you any more points. I hope you can bring me some surprises next time I see you. Professor Flitwick shouted when he saw Lin Xiao, who was still in the classroom after class was over. In this class, they are still learning the most basic magic spell, Arahuodonkai. Lin Xiao still conquered Professor Flitwick with his perfect performance. Even say. After class, Lin Xiao did not run out of the professor directly like the other students, but instead used the floating charm to help Professor Flitwick return all the seats. Lin Xiao froze when he heard Professor Flitwick's words. Ahaha, that. Professor, I'm not doing it for college points, I just think you need someone to help. Lin Xiao resisted the twitching at the corner of his mouth and replied. Oh, Mr. Lin Xiao, thank you very much for your hard work. You must know that I have already added 12 points to you, and the bottle of your Gryffindor Academy will be filled by yourself. Professor Flitwick is also mature. Excited in Lin Xiao's eyes when he saw himself rewarding Academy more than once. Lin Xiao thought about it, and it was true. I'm a little too holding on to a professor, and it's time to change the routine. However, you still have to do the whole thing. When Lin Xiao left the charms classroom, he did not return to the Gryffindor common room, but walked outside. He has no other classes this afternoon. After coming to Hogwarts College for so long, he has never left this area of the teaching building. By the way, Lin Xiao really needs to find a secluded place to practice Kama-Taj magic. Recently, when he learned magic, he has a new insight that needs to be practiced. However, just after Lin Xiao walked out of the teaching building, he came across an unexpected person when he came to a forest area. Luna Lovegood. Luna dresses casually. Light blue jeans were paired with a fluffy floral skirt top over a navy blue knitted sweater. I saw Luna holding an apple aloft. And there was nothing in front of her. Just when Lin Xiao wondered what Luna was doing, the apple was suddenly bitten by some kind of creature and half of it disappeared. Lin Xiao was looking at Luna from a distance at the moment. But something feels wrong. Sudden. Lin Xiao knew something was wrong. It was Luna who had no shoes on her feet and stepped on the ground with her bare, white and tender feet. The weather is not too warm now. It will be cold. Lin Xiao hurried over to remind Luna that she should wear her shoes. But he didn't wait for Lin Xiao to approach. Oh, Lin Xiao, I haven't seen you for a long time. At this moment, Luna did not turn around, but called out Lin Xiao's name accurately. I just met Harry, but I didn't expect to meet you again. Lin Xiao was taken aback. Harry was here before. Although Luna didn't turn her head at this time, Lin Xiao could still hear her cheerful tone from Luna's tone. Yeah, I've been busy with too many things recently, how are you doing? Lin Xiao looked at Luna's back and showed a smile. Well, not bad. Your shoes. It's going to get cold in this weather. Luna looked down at her feet, 10 toes moved playfully, turned her head and said mysteriously. It's a bit cold, but all my shoes have mysteriously disappeared, I think it's dried by a cockroach. Although Luna's tone had a hint of mystery. But Lin Xiao was angry. It's not like Lin Xiao doesn't believe it. But this is Hogwarts School of Witchcraft and Wizardry, how could a creature like a cockroach appear in the girls' dormitory of Ravenclaw College? It must be a prank by someone to make fun of Luna. Now everyone is wearing long trousers and long jackets, and by the way they have to put on a coat. The temperature can be imagined. Bare feet will definitely feel cool in this weather. Lin Xiao suddenly felt a little distressed for Luna. How can this kind girl get into Ravenclaw, an academy that claims to only have the brightest students? Perhaps this is the excuse her kind heart made for herself. Or just don't care about it. Convince yourself of a reason. Lin Xiao, can you see them? These are called thestrals. Very few people can see them. You can only find them after seeing someone die. Although they look. Luna explained to Lin Xiao while stroking the void. But suddenly, Luna heard a rustling sound beside her. Then his right foot, which was originally cold, was lifted up by a pair of hot hands. Head down. Luna actually saw that Lin Xiao was already squatting on the ground, and the shoes that were just under Lin Xiao's feet were placed beside him. It doesn't really matter to me. Thank you, Lin Xiao. Although Luna did not move physically. Let Lin Xiao pat the dirt off his feet. But the calm heart suddenly felt a touch of throbbing, and an indescribable emotion poured out. Luna's skin is very white. It belongs to the kind of marble-like cold white. Lin Xiao carefully brushed off the dust on his right foot, and then gave Luna his own shoes on the boat. You'll catch a cold, so wear first. I'll bring you a pair of shoes when I have time. Lin Xiao's voice was gentle. When Lin Xiao was about to do the same with the other foot, Luna shrank back for some reason. But under Lin Xiao's toughness, still obediently put on Lin Xiao's shoes. However, Luna, who didn't seem to know whether she was shy or was frightened by Lin Xiao's abrupt action, had the most subtle arc at the corner of her mouth. Lin Xiao's shoes are relatively large. This makes Luna look funny and cute when she wears it. Okay, I'll still get sick with bare feet. I'll go first. Remember to find me if you have anything. Aren't we friends? Lin Xiao stepped on the ground wearing black socks. He felt a little cold even wearing socks. Luna had just been so cold. This moment, Lin Xiao narrowed his eyes, and his anger became stronger. However, there was still a smile on his face, and Luna didn't see the clue. Ravenclaw's girls' dorm. Ah. Luna is not something you can bully if you want. Lin Xiao had already made up his mind secretly. Whatever the prank in his heart, he wanted to let the person who stole Luna's shoes taste the consequences. Luna looked at Lin Xiao's back in the distance and fell into contemplation. Looking down at the shoes that didn't fit well, he smiled happily. From Luna's point of view, this is the first person besides her deceased mother and father who has treated her so well. It's really cold. Although Luna squatted on the ground and touched the infant thestral in front of her, her eyes were always on the pair of shoes on her feet. Such a toss. Lin Xiao also lost the thought of practicing camouflage magic. Ready to go straight back to the Gryffindor boys' dorm to get some shoes on. But just when Lin Xiao entered a certain teaching building at Hogwarts College, he suddenly saw a group of people gathered in front of him. There is a ladder in the crowd. There were two professors on the stairs who were arguing fiercely. One of them was tall and slender. The other was obese and short. Professor McGonagall, Dean of Gryffindor College, and Umbridge, Professor of Defense Against the Dark Arts. Lin Xiao also hurried forward when he saw this. When I squeezed through the crowd and came to the front, I happened to bump into Hermione. Hey, Lin Xiao, why are you here? Hermione noticed that someone patted herself and turned around and saw that it was Lin Xiao. However, without waiting for Lin Xiao to speak, Hermione suddenly felt that Lin Xiao seemed to be a little shorter in height. Was wondering. Look down. Lin Xiao actually stepped on the ground wearing a pair of black socks, not wearing shoes at all. Lin Xiao, what are you doing? Where are your shoes? Hermione asked in a low voice. Nothing. What happened? Why are everyone around here? Lin Xiao looked down at his feet and didn't say that he gave Luna his shoes. Professor McGonagall and the pink toad got into a fight. It seems that there have been too many students skipping classes recently, and George and Fred are selling too much skipping candy. Speaking of which, Hermione would have laughed out loud if she hadn't held back. Thanks to Umbridge's brain-pumping teaching style, more and more people are beginning to resist defense against the dark arts classes. To the graduating class. Down to first grade. Most of the students skipped classes with the help of the Weasley twins. Certainly. The picture is a bit irritating to the eyes. Some students have nosebleeds, and some students have sores all over their faces, or a certain part starts to become highly swollen. All in all, just in less than half a month, students at Hogwarts School of Witchcraft and Wizardry have hit record highs. Even more than in recent years combined. At the beginning, the Weasley twins also recommended several good products to Lin Xiao, but Lin Xiao did not choose to buy them. But I have to say that Umbridge is really annoying to people, and dogs are disgusted by dogs. Hermione, who loves to learn, has been moved by the products of the Weasley twins. Looks like Professor McGonagall has figured out the problem. Hey, that's interesting. Lin Xiao just made a joke. Before I could talk about the second game, my face suddenly froze. I rely on. Are you doing something wrong with the system? Professor, are you wondering what I'm suggesting? Umbridge and Professor McGonagall were standing on the steps and a heated argument broke out. Confront Umbridge's aggressiveness. Professor McGonagall would not budge. I just want you to follow our school's teaching standards when you teach your students. Umbridge is much shorter than Professor McGonagall. As she spoke, she walked up a step so that she could be about as tall as Professor McGonagall. Excuse my ignorance, you seem to be questioning my teaching methods in my own classroom, don't you? Minerva. But Professor McGonagall clearly wanted to put some pressure on Umbridge this time. She also took a step up. Let yourself look down at the woman still wearing the pink coat again. No, Dolores. I'm just telling you to change the old ways and stop looking at the teaching of Hogwarts in the same way. Umbridge's professional smirk faded when he heard this. And take Professor McGonagall's speech as a provocation to her, Cornelius Fudge, and the Ministry of Magic. I am sorry, dear, that questioning my teaching is questioning the Ministry of Magic. Further, you are questioning the Minister of Magic himself. I am a forgiving person. But the only thing I cannot stand is disloyalty. When Umbridge said this, Professor McGonagall's momentum dropped instantly. At the same time, he took a step back. Take the initiative to step back to the steps you just stood on. It is clear. In this round of confrontation, Umbridge finally moved out of the Minister of Magic and won an overwhelming victory. Umbridge snorted inwardly as he watched Professor McGonagall slump. Another step up. This allowed her to look down on Minerva McGonagall completely and better look around at all the students watching. Cleared his throat. This time Umbridge exclaimed with pride and resignation on his face. The situation at Hogwarts is worse than I thought, and Connolly will take the next step. With that, Umbridge looked around. Look arrogant. Seeing Minerva McGonagall's struggling face, and the students' blank faces, Umbridge was relieved. It's time to take a good look at the situation at Hogwarts. However, just as Umbridge was happy for his verbal victory, an unusually harsh voice sounded. Lin Xiao, what are you doing? Lin Xiao. Hermione looked at Lin Xiao who walked out of the crowd barefoot and shouted desperately. But Lin Xiao was not moved at all. Professor Umbridge, I would like to ask, if you insist on your teaching without any problems, I am very curious about what you have taught us during the half-month at Hogwarts. Or does the Ministry of Magic want Hogwarts to teach the philosophy of teaching some theoretical masters, or a bunch of rubbish? The surroundings were very quiet due to Umbridge's strong speech. The voice that suddenly sounded was not loud. But it clearly entered the ears of everyone. Umbridge's expression froze, and he suddenly looked at Lin Xiao who was walking out of the crowd. It's this guy again. There was a glint of hatred in Umbridge's eyes, but there was a smile on his face that he thought was elegant. But such harsh words made Umbridge unable to manage his expressions very well. Instead, he seemed to be laughing instead of laughing, anger instead of anger, and extremely funny. Oh, Mr. Lin Xiao. How can you say such a thing? Professor Umbridge and I are discussing teaching issues. This is not a topic your students should get involved in. Professor McGonagall turned around quickly and said. The emotions in the eyes are extremely complicated. Lin Xiao nodded slightly at Professor McGonagall, but still looked straight at Umbridge, hoping to get her answer. It's this guy again, didn't he just get out of confinement? But there's nothing wrong with what he said. I didn't learn anything in this year's defense against the dark arts class. That's it, it's better to cancel this course. My grandma also told me that if I can't even learn defensive magic, I'll drop out of school. My dad told me that the Ministry of Magic was going to intervene at Hogwarts recently. This woman is the deputy minister. Lin Xiao is crazy. Aren't you afraid of dropping out? Lin Xiao's words made the surrounding students extremely noisy. The students all said that what Lin Xiao said was the truth. They really didn't learn a thing in defense against the dark arts class this semester. Might as well cancel the course. Professor McGonagall, I just asked Professor Umbridge a question. I would like to know Professor Umbridge. Oh no, it should be said that if the Ministry of Magic thinks there is no need to learn defense, why not just cancel the course? Lin Xiao was also full of momentum at the moment. Aggressive. You must hear Professor Umbridge's answer in general. Yes. I agree, Professor Umbridge might as well suggest that the Ministry of Magic cancel this course, and by the way, cancel this course from the OWL's and Newt's exams. I agree too, cancel it. Anyway, I read and study by myself in class. Professor Umbridge, so you don't have to be so tired, and you can go back to the Ministry of Magic and work in peace. Yeah, cancel defense against the dark arts class. Messed up. Total mess. Lin Xiao's words directly hit the G-spot of the students, and everyone was not afraid of making a big noise. Even if Professor McGonagall told everyone to shut up, they couldn't listen. Certainly. Professor McGonagall's incomparably calm restraint was more of a play. Umbridge's face turned blue and white at the moment. In the face of the messy condemnation of many students, it is impossible to keep calm. Enough. Quiet. Umbridge's voice was sharp and hysterical. His face flushed. Her undulating chest made her look more like a toad. Umbridge held her wand in her right hand to her neck, and she just used magic to intensify her growl. The scene instantly quieted down. Very good. Classmate Lin Xiao, it's you again. It seems that the last confinement did not allow you to learn a lesson and adjust your thinking well. From tomorrow onwards, please come on time at 5 p.m. every day. My office. Umbridge panted loudly. It sounds uncomfortable. Also, since classmate Lin Xiao is in public. I'm sorry, Professor Umbridge. Lin Xiao has just completed the Quidditch application and may not be able to participate in your extracurricular tutoring. Just when Umbridge was about to keep ranting, Professor McGonagall's voice lingered. Umbridge looked at McGonagall angrily, furious. Oh, dear defense against the dark arts Professor Umbridge, you must know that Quidditch is a sport that Minister Fudge has always admired and Mr. Lin Xiao happens to be the main player of Gryffindor Academy. Faced with Professor McGonagall's remarks, Umbridge couldn't refute it. She figured it out. She lost. This time it was a complete loss. Losing faceless. Especially the coaxing students made her feel even more ashamed, and her face was even more blue and red. Umbridge had planned to deduct Gryffindor Academy points for Lin Xiao's disrespectful remarks, but after hearing what Minerva McGonagall had just said, she knew that was impossible. Since Minerva McGonagall dared to protect Lin Xiao from being locked up, that would also add back the points she deducted. Lin Xiao turned a blind eye to Umbridge's hostile gaze, standing upright without flinching. A long time. It seems that the rules of Hogwarts really need to be changed. Minerva hopes you will have a good performance. Umbridge left without a word. She has no need to stay. Nothing will change in staying here other than continuing to be humiliated. And all this. It's all that damn first-year freshman. Wow. Lin Xiao, great job. Lin Xiao. Lin Xiao. Lin Xiao. When Umbridge left the surrounding students, they all cheered for Lin Xiao excitedly. Hermione smiled and shook her head in applause. Harry, I'm so relieved, did you see Pink Toad's expression just now? Ronald shouted to Harry excitedly. Harry was also clapping. Okay, don't you have anything to do? It seems that I have too little homework in Transfiguration, ladies and gentlemen. Professor McGonagall reprimanded with a stern face. Don't look at Professor McGonagall's cold face, but Lin Xiao definitely saw that the corner of Professor McGonagall's mouth curved just a little bit. Although only for a moment. But Lin Xiao was absolutely right. Unlike Umbridge, the disgusting pink toad, Professor McGonagall is loved, respected and revered by his students. In Professor McGonagall's scolding, the students who were watching the lively and booing around here scattered in a hurry. Hermione kept looking back as Ronald and Harry pulled away. In her opinion, the unruly Lin Xiao may be punished. Harry, when was Lin Xiao selected by the Gryffindor Quidditch team? Ronald did not forget to ask Lin Xiao about being selected by the Quidditch team. Harry shook his head silently. I don't know, maybe just now. God, will you help me get into the Quidditch team with Professor McGonagall? I feel like I have a talent for being a goalkeeper. Ronald, stop arguing and go. Harry, tell Angelina, let me in. Lin Xiao turned his head and smiled as Harry, Ronald and Hermione left. Oh, Mr. Lin Xiao, it seems that your homework is a little less lately so that you have time to enjoy nature, right? Professor McGonagall's voice sounded. Lin Xiao turned his head. At this moment, Professor McGonagall glanced at Lin Xiao's feet without shoes. Professor McGonagall, can I go back and change my shoes if I have nothing to do? Lin Xiao was not afraid that Professor McGonagall would reprimand himself. Because the task that just appeared in the Supreme Mage system, in his mind at this moment has been completed, this shows that he will definitely not be taught by Professor McGonagall. Just as Umbridge and McGonagall broke out. Originally, Lin Xiao did not intend to intervene at all. After all, it has nothing to do with him. However, just when Lin Xiao was ready to hang up, a reward task popped up again in the Supreme Mage system. Powerful mages often have excellent and unique insights, and it is particularly important to establish correct values. Reward mission, help Minerva McGonagall and gain the favor of Minerva McGonagall. Successful reward suspension ring. Suspended ring. This is another artifact of the Supreme Mage. It is different from the levitation cloak and the Eye of Agamotto, and is a tool that can open the portal. With the powerful spiritual power, the user can open a portal through the ring, and send it to different places according to the user's thoughts. And the magic of the suspension ring is not only that. When Lin Xiao found out that the reward for the mission was a suspense, he resolutely compromised. Joke. When Lin Xiao was ready to express his solidarity with Professor McGonagall, he was already prepared to be deducted by Umbridge. But I didn't expect it to be so smooth. Not only is there no deduction. He also successfully completed the reward mission and received the reward ring. Lin Xiao touched the ring that suddenly appeared on his finger and was extremely excited. He couldn't wait to find a place to test the function of the ring. Professor McGonagall smiled at Lin Xiao, who couldn't wait to leave. Said in a slightly hoarse voice. "Oh. Of course, you really need to hurry up and put on a pair of shoes. Mr. Lin Xiao, I personally suggest that you should adjust your attitude towards Professor Umbridge. After all, she is a full professor at Hogwarts School of Witchcraft and Wizardry. Is that right?" Having said that, Professor McGonagall paused. He said something that surprised Lin Xiao. Lin Xiao awarded 3 points, which is a good way to carry forward Gryffindor's adventurous and brave spirit. 3 points. Lin Xiao looked at Professor McGonagall in disbelief. "What's the matter? Don't you want it? I heard that you are very active in helping Gryffindor get college points. Of course, I'm not showing favoritism, but you deserve these 3 points. Remember, don't give up on you under any circumstances. This hard-won bravery." Professor McGonagall praised Lin Xiao and left here in a hurry. She still has a lot of work to do. Vice President of Hogwarts, Head of Gryffindor House, Professor of Transfiguration, and a member of the Order of the Phoenix. Professor McGonagall really has a lot to deal with on a daily basis. Not just no spare time. Often even had to work late at night. Lin Xiao really made a lot of money this time. It can be said to be 3 birds with 1 stone. Not only did he successfully obtain the suspense ring, but the task of astral projection was also successfully completed. Most importantly, he also received admiration from Professor McGonagall. Although I don't care too much what Professor McGonagall thinks of Lin Xiao, there is not necessarily a time when there will be a need in the future. Lin Xiao doesn't have the time to think about it now. When Professor McGonagall left, Lin Xiao returned to his dormitory at a very fast speed. Lin Xiao, who returned to the dormitory, didn't even change his clothes and lay down on his bed. Astral projection. That's right. Lin Xiao was about to test the new ability he had just acquired, astral projection. The 3 college points awarded by Professor McGonagall just now finally allowed Lin Xiao to gain a total of 20 college points, completing the reward task. Astral projection allows the user to detach his spirit and consciousness from his body at any time, and exist as a spiritual body. Although not able to attack. But the magic of astral projection doesn't stop there. Because the spirit body separated from the body is different from the soul body in the Harry Potter world. Is undetectable. Cannot be attacked. Only spirits can attack each other. If there is a need, the spiritual body can take the initiative to be exposed to the eyes of others and do some necessary things. Like in Doctor Strange. In order to save his own life, Doctor Strange supervises the surgery that endangered his own life in front of his girlfriend. Astral projection is actually a Western term. According to the name of Lin Xiao's hometown, it is actually called Yuanshan out of body. Lin Xiao lay on the bed and slowly closed his eyes. When he opened his eyes again and sat up, he had successfully transformed into an astral projection mental state. Lin Xiao looked at his hands left and right. Try moving. It's a wonderful feeling. Lin Xiao slowly floated up, looking at himself sleeping on the bed. He understood that he had successfully mastered astral projection. In the next few days Lin Xiao used astral projection to go around many places. He also understood why the Forbidden Forest was called the Forbidden Forest. Saw the precious unicorn. Saw wild centaurs too. Even saw the huge 8-eyed spider Aragog, but at this moment Aragog was extremely weak. It can be said. In the past 2 days, Lin Xiao turned almost all the places he could. Certainly. The principal's office also welcomed several visits from Lin Xiao. It's a pity that Principal Dumbledore doesn't seem to be at the school these days, maybe he's busy preparing for Voldemort's return. Originally, Lin Xiao wanted to try it out. Can the most powerful wizard in the wizarding world discover his existence? It seemed that there was only one more chance. And this day, Lin Xiao actually floated directly into Ravenclaw's common room out of curiosity. At this time, there were a lot of Ravenclaw college students in the common room. The common room at Ravenclaw College is not the same as the common room at Gryffindor. The Ravenclaw common room is located on the top floor of the tower, more precisely, at the top of the spiral staircase on the west side of Hogwarts, probably on the 5th floor, and outside is a door with an eagle-shaped bronze knocker. The lounge is circular, with arched windows overlooking the school's playground, the Great Lake, the Forbidden Forest, the Quidditch pitch and Professor Sprout's herb garden. You are welcome to say. Lin Xiao believes that the Ravenclaw common room has the best viewpoint in the school. Can see all the best scenery of Hogwarts School of Witchcraft and Wizardry. And trying to enter the Ravenclaw common room is not the same as entering the Gryffindor common room. Well known. To enter the Gryffindor common room, you need to answer the fat lady's password. To enter the Ravenclaw common room, one must answer the logical riddle given by the eagle-shaped bronze door knocker. And everyone has only one chance. If the answer is wrong, then you need to wait for the person behind to answer correctly before entering together. That's Ravenclaw. And the most interesting thing is that the common room of Ravenclaw College is not open to the public like the other 3 colleges, but you can enter as long as you can answer the logical secret words of the eagle-shaped bronze door knocker. Lin Xiao once thought that Hermione should go to Ravenclaw College instead of Gryffindor. Because even Ravenclaw's common room has a private library filled with tables, chairs, and bookcases. It is a paradise for scholars. Hell for scumbags. Nature. The only ones who can get into Ravenclaw College are usually the top students. Lin Xiao wandered in the Ravenclaw lounge while maintaining his mental body, wanting to see what Luna usually does in the lounge. But he turned around in the common room and couldn't find Luna. Did Luna go to the forest over there again? Lin Xiao muttered and was about to leave the Ravenclaw lounge. Sudden. A heated argument breaks out in the girls' dormitory in Ravenclaw. Give me back my shoes. What are you doing, crazy? Who wants to take your stinky shoes? You don't know where they got those big shoes, who cares? That's it. Don't get nervous here. What does it have to do with us when you lose your shoes? Didn't you say something about the cockroach and hook it away? Whoops, get your wand. Come on, let me see how good the famous mad girl Lovegood is. The noise is getting louder. As the bickering of several girls became clearer, a clutter of footsteps entered the ears of everyone in the common room of Ravenclaw College. Luna. Spiritual body. Lin Xiao frowned. Shoe. He originally planned to ask someone to help buy 2 pairs of shoes for Luna, but due to his recent addiction to astral projection, he was not in a hurry. According to Luna's character, she probably wouldn't take the initiative to buy shoes. Lin Xiao has met Luna in the last 2 days. But compared to the last time without shoes, Luna has been wearing the shoes that Lin Xiao gave her the last 2 days. And it's very clean. Although Lin Xiao's shoes a few sizes larger are a bit funny on Luna's feet, Luna wears them every day. This also caused some students who didn't like Luna to joke that they were picked-up shoes. Because of a certain quality of Luna itself. In the eyes of the students, she is neurotic and often makes fun of Luna. And Luna has always been silent. Neither resist. Will not choose revenge. But that doesn't mean Luna won't get angry, won't explode. It just doesn't matter to Luna. But it was Luna's attitude that further encouraged some students to continue to prank Luna. That crazy girl Lovegood was spread from them. Even say. The disappearance of those shoes was the result of this group of people. Originally, they thought Luna would find it funny wearing an ill-fitting men's shoe, and made fun of it for a while. But it was found that Luna was still indifferent. They finally secretly threw the shoes into a utility room in the academy. That's why Luna didn't choose to swallow her anger this time. Those shoes were given to her by her friend. It was given to her by Lin Xiao. This is the first time she has felt the care other than her parents. She cherishes this emotion and does not allow others to destroy it. It can be said. Of all Luna's possessions now, only those shoes are the most precious. Even if she has the opportunity to buy new shoes. It's also perfectly fine to ask her father to send her a few new pairs of shoes. But Luna didn't. Maybe it's because there's no reason to wear those shoes with new shoes, or maybe it's a hassle. But only Luna knows what she really thinks. Anyway, Luna is very angry now. It was also the first time she had been at Hogwarts School of Witchcraft and Wizardry that she had said no to the sense of mischief. Luna's skin was as white as snow. Under the cold face at the moment. Can't see the slightest bit of blood. Luna held the wand in one hand and pointed at the 3 girls, her pretty face was cold and her eyes were captivating. And she stepped barefoot on the floor again. Give me back my shoes. Luna kept approaching the 3 girls while holding the wand, and the 3 girls were full of panic despite their strong mouths and wands to confront Luna. Lin Xiao watched everything and probably wanted to understand what happened. Is that them? Lin Xiao narrowed his eyes, and the same anger continued to pour out of his heart. Hey, Lovegood, you, don't mess around, this is the common room, prohibited, the use of magic between students is prohibited. Yeah. Lovegood, be careful, you're fired, your dad's from a magazine, my dad works at the Ministry of Magic. Just. Besides, what evidence do you have that we took the shoes? The three girls are not stupid. Seeing more and more people gathered around, he shouted at the top of his voice. But Luna didn't listen at all. Ravenclaw's female prefect is not here. Since there were no student prefects, and most of them including Luna, they stayed away. There is no meaning to step forward to discourage. All ready for a good show. 3-1. Every fool knows that mad girl Lovegood can't win. Seeing that the surrounding students didn't want to interfere, the three girls became more emboldened. Seeing Luna's face getting colder and colder. The atmosphere suddenly became tense. Oops. Lin Xiao looked left and right, and immediately saw that the group had no intention of interfering. If no one helps Luna. This time she had to suffer. Damn it. Lin Xiao hesitated, and quickly rushed back towards his position. He can't allow anyone to bully Luna. Not long after Lin Xiao's spiritual body disappeared, the conflict finally broke out. I don't know if I saw that Luna didn't move for a while. The true nature of the three girls was exposed again. Perhaps it was because the timidity just revealed stimulated their self-esteem, and the follow-up words were very harsh. Or maybe Luna didn't do it for a while. The three decided that Luna had no courage. But just when the girl whose father worked at the Ministry of Magic said that the shoes were not necessarily worn by a homeless person, Luna, who had been holding back, finally broke out. Evert statum. Hanging flip, let the target flip in the air for 2.5 weeks. Followed by Luna's coquettish snort. Bang! The girl tossed in midair for 2.5 weeks and hit the ground heavily, and her wand fell to the side. Whoa! Immediately, there were bursts of exclamations around, and the crazy girl Lovegood was really crazy. She actually dared to use magic against her classmates in the common room, and even knocked her classmates to the ground. Mary! Do it! One of the girls, who was obviously the backbone, exclaimed and hurriedly called her companions to take action. The two of them waved their wands. Expelliarmus. Accept your weapon, used to bounce the wand in the opponent's hand, it is a disarming effect. One of the girls shouted loudly. A light flashed. The wand in Luna's hand was instantly released as if it had been hit hard. But things didn't end there. Jellylegs Jinx. Soft leg mantra, makes the legs of the person hit by the mantra weak and unable to walk normally. How could Luna be an opponent in the face of three people? Although the first shot to knock down a girl, but the other two girls immediately subdued Luna. The cursed Luna's legs softened. Immediately sit on the ground. At this moment, Luna sat like a duck, but said stubbornly, give me back the shoes. Shoes. Humph. Mad woman, you're attacking your classmates in the common room, even if I do something on you. Since you're a mad girl, how about you try the slug spell? Or is it the ear-folding spell? How about a dance spell? Since you don't like wearing shoes, let's dance with these feet. After speaking, laughter erupted around him. But no one does not know. Right now. A circle of golden red light appeared quietly behind the crowd. Look at the crazy girl Lovegood who ducks sit on the ground. The head girl's eyes were full of contempt, she slowly circled Luna with her wand, and kept saying insulting words. And the girl named Mary went to support her companion. Some students around wanted to go up to block. But the girl named the head glared back fiercely. If Luna said a soft word or apologized at this moment, maybe things would end like this. But Luna kept repeating a sentence with her neck stuck. Give me back the shoes, give me the shoes, give me the shoes. The three girls burst out laughing. Watching the crazy girl Lovegood laugh like this is a joy. This is what they want to see. Those who are rejected must have the consciousness of being rejected, and why do they have to resist useless? But the girl in the lead obviously didn't want to let Luna go just like that. This time, Luna took the lead in attacking her classmates with magic, so she would have no problem with any counterattack. Moreover, the attacked girl's father worked for Minister Fudge. As long as it doesn't make too big of a deal. Can be pressed down. The girl slowly raised her wand, thinking about what kind of magic she would use to punish this crazy woman. But right now. The students' onlookers suddenly exclaimed. The corners of the girl's mouth lifted in satisfaction. She likes the exclamation of people around this prank crazy girl, and she likes the excitement of being watched, noticed, and feared. But what she didn't know was, the exclamations were not caused by her, but because of Lin Xiao. When Lin Xiao found out that something was wrong, he immediately returned to his own body. Take out the ring and put it on the index and middle fingers of the left hand. Lin Xiao made a seal on the left. The right hand draws a circle in midair. With the rotation of the right hand, a ring gate composed of golden red light immediately appeared. And this portal is connected to the Ravenclaw common room. Lin Xiao didn't have time to hesitate at all. When the gate of the ring was formed, it rushed over in an instant. At the same time, the suspension cloak was also draped over Lin Xiao's shoulders. When Lin Xiao, who was wearing a red cloak, ran away from the onlookers, the students who were staggered couldn't help cursing and exclaiming. That's why when the girl in the lead raised her wand at Luna, the reason behind the exclamations will break out. Because it wasn't because of this girl at all, but because of Lin Xiao who was in conflict with the crowd at this moment. Since you're a crazy woman, then you should have ugly pimples. The girl has already thought of the spell. She's going to cast a pimple spell on this crazy woman. This is a tricky magic that can make the target's face full of pimples. For Luna's super high appearance, the girl was jealous more than once. Why such a good-looking face is born on a crazy woman, not her. But just as the girl chanted the spell, accident happened. Fernun, ah. Bang. With a short and sharp scream, the girl was directly knocked out by a chair that appeared out of thin air. Great power. Let the seemingly incomparably strong chair actually fall apart. And the girl was lying motionless not far away except for a painful scream when she was hit. This sudden scene stunned all the onlookers. The girl's two companions also looked at the fallen companion in shock. What happened? Clatter. 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 In the silent Ravenclaw common room, a crisp footstep sounded. The onlookers and the remaining two girls actually saw a boy in a red cloak walking towards Luna with a distressed face. Although the boy had no wand in his hand. But everyone knows that it must have been this boy who did everything just now. How did he get in? Oh my god. I remember him, a 16-year-old freshman in the first year, the guy who believed in the news of the resurrection of the mysterious man. Isn't this the student who fought with Umbridge 2 days ago? I remember, he was in the same carriage with the mad girl on the Hogwarts train. Who brought him in? Isn't he Gryffindor's school? There were bursts of exclamations around. Everyone looked at the first-year Gryffindor freshman who suddenly appeared in the Ravenclaw common room. Although the Ravenclaw common room only needs to answer the riddle correctly to enter. But very few people come here on their own initiative. The remaining two girls were stunned at first, and then screamed and ran to the girl who fell to the ground. The scene just now terrified the two girls. How can such a heavy hand? They were all afraid in their hearts, whether the impact would make the girl look bad. What kind of impact was required to break the chair and the girl who hit it flew out several meters away? Lin Xiao was not moved at all. He doesn't care what kind of punishment he will receive in the future. Under everyone's attention, Lin Xiao walked slowly to Luna's body, squatted on the ground and said with some distress. Silly girl, you can just tell me if you don't have your shoes. Why are you arguing with this group of people by yourself? Hey! Put on these shoes first. After finishing speaking, Lin Xiao put on the new shoes he had prepared for Luna again. Luna was unexpectedly stubborn this time. That's what you gave me, it's the first gift I've ever received. Listen to Luna. Lin Xiao actually felt a little sour. Even though it was just a pair of shoes, Luna thought it was a gift. Look, it's not the first time you've received a gift. This pair of shoes is also a gift, and that's the second time. Although Luna didn't know where her eyes were falling. It didn't fall on Lin Xiao anyway. But Lin Xiao's voice was still very gentle. As if afraid of disturbing this elf-like girl. Because Luna was hit by the soft leg curse and had difficulty moving, Lin Xiao rewarded Luna and hugged her sideways after putting on her shoes, intending to find Mrs. Bobby Pomfrey. As for the remaining two girls. Let's wait until he settles Luna first. The onlookers saw Lin Xiao hugging Luna and quickly made way for a passage. This guy is crazy too. A Gryffindor freshman running to Ravenclaw College and injuring a Ravenclaw student is outrageous. And Lin Xiao has been in the limelight recently. No one could figure out what the hell this guy came from. But Lin Xiao didn't take 2 steps. There were 2 coquettish voices suddenly behind him. Petrificus totalis. Stunned, makes the enemy temporarily unconscious and incapacitated. Wadivasi. Wadivasi, let the target bounce off like a bullet. How could the other two girls just let Lin Xiao and the crazy girl leave like this? See, the companion is still in a coma. The two felt greatly insulted. If Lin Xiao left with Luna just like that, the three of them would really become a joke. The two got up in shame and anger, and the two magics came out. As for whether it was a sneak attack, don't care at all. The onlookers were also scared to cover their mouths. How could things develop to this situation? These people are crazy. Especially that Gryffindor kid. Too young. How can you expose your back to others under such circumstances? This is not entirely self-inflicted. Some people couldn't bear to look at it and closed their eyes immediately. But some people just laughed with schadenfreude, hoping to see that Gryffindor kid and mad girl get slapped. The two girls are bound to win this time. Both of them are 4th graders. Although the spell mastered may not be too advanced, it is more than a mistake to deal with a first-year freshman. Besides, the damn bastard was holding Luna with his back to them right now. Even if the freshman knew some fighting methods and magic, it was absolutely impossible to fight back in this situation. But something that made countless people stunned. The Gryffindor boy turned a deaf ear to the sneak attack by the two girls, as if he didn't react at all to being attacked, he just stopped and stood in place. But the funny cloak he was wearing suddenly moved. That's right. The red cloak actually broke off the Gryffindor kid's shoulders and floated behind him. It's like protecting the Gryffindor kid. How can that be? Is this cloak a magic tool? But at this time, what magic item can actually resist the spell attack? The two girls also looked at each other in shock, seeing shock in each other's eyes. They were both full of ideas. What is this? The two girls gritted their teeth, followed by the sound of several spells. But the cloak was so straight behind the Gryffindor boy that no magic wand could change it. And the spell on the cloak is like a stone ox into the sea. Disappeared without a trace. Lin Xiao turned his head and looked coldly at the girl who was constantly casting spells like him, a rare trace of ruthlessness flashed in his eyes. Nasty girl. Although not cast some deadly magic. But now it's all magic that makes people extremely uncomfortable. But no matter what. These two girls are still at the student stage, and they are still much more immature in magic combat. He would just stand in place and continuously release magic in the direction of Lin Xiao, ignoring the blind spot of vision. While the two girls were still struggling to release magic. Bang! Bang! 2 more dull knocks sounded. The two girls let out a wailing sound no less than that of a girl who fell to the ground, and flew out and smashed heavily on the ground. The surrounding students all made the sound of gasping for air. Again, 2 more chairs. When the two girls attacked, 2 chairs suddenly flew out and hit them. The two girls were also on the ground. Not a single sound came out. The students around Ravenclaw were dumbfounded. Has this galloping Gryffindor kid gone mad? At the same time, many Ravenclaw students also discovered something unusual. Not to mention the cloak that can absorb spells on Gryffindor kid, he is holding Luna in both hands. How did he cast the magic? Although I heard that this kid is very gifted with magic spells. In the first spell class, he performed the silent floating charm perfectly. But what about his wand? What about the wand gesture? He didn't move on the spot, he turned his back to the two girls the whole time, and the most action was to simply turn his head. What? Is it even a magic spell to look back? All the Ravenclaw students around at the moment are full of question marks. They are all scholars. They all add up to have read countless books and documents, but no one has seen this situation. Lin Xiao glanced coldly at the 3 girls who fell to the ground. Not too lazy to talk nonsense. He directly hugged Luna and rushed towards the school doctor's office. And Luna let Lin Xiao hug her face with no expression, just staring at the new shoes on her feet. Well, this is the second gift. But it's too new. Lin Xiao looked down at Luna. Seeing Luna's cute and cold face disappeared, she smiled helplessly. I don't even know what to say. It's really hard not to like such a dull girl. When Lin Xiao came to the school doctor's room with Luna in his arms, Madame Pomfrey just waved her wand to unlock the spell that Luna had pushed, which was not too much trouble. But when Ravenclaw students came to the school medical room with 3 comatose female students on their backs, the pot was blown up. Madame Pomfrey was a very gentle middle-aged woman. Oh my god, what's going on? Was it attacked by a troll? These 3 kids were all knocked unconscious, where are they, darling? Mrs. Bobby Pomfrey hurriedly instructed Ravenclaw's students to place the 3 girls on the 3 vacant beds. But when she asked what happened, the few Ravenclaw students timidly glanced at Lin Xiao and Luna, who were afraid to speak. They were really scared. This Gryffindor kid is more mad than a mad girl. It's really a bit intimidating. Seeing that the Ravenclaw students kept their eyes on Lin Xiao, Mrs. Bobby Pomfrey probably understood what was going on. Magical brawl. News of the Gryffindor first year rioting in the Ravenclaw common room, and a conflict with 3 Ravenclaw students, injuring people spread rapidly. It didn't take long for it to spread throughout the campus. Lin Xiao also did not take Luna out of the school medical room under Madame Pomfrey's suggestion. After all, this is a bad thing. The deans of the college need to come to deal with it. Soon. Lin Xiao, who was chatting with Luna, heard a clutter of footsteps. And there are loud noises. Minerva, you have to give me an explanation. Why did the Gryffindor students run into the common room in Ravenclaw and hurt my students?